This episode is sponsored by Face It.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to guarantee it on the podcast right now.
Guarantee?
No way, we got the guarantee.
One of Alcad or TM are beating a Korean team this tournament, 100%. You can print it, if not both of them. I think, according to the Bucks and all of my knowledge and all of my information, I think that these two teams, I think, exist in the same tier as any team right now. I think. I know we say this every year, but I think that I really think that this time is different. Genuinely, this time is different.
What's the secret, UV? How does it always work out, even when it feels like everything should be against you in these big picture decisions?
I think it might be like a passion difference, unironically. I just think it's weird that announcement is coming in these player discords, like you're saying.
Yeah,
that's how everyone's finding out. It's just like, guys, I'm not playing this next tournament. Like, okay, where?
The org just refuses to announce anything. The coaching staff refuses to say anything. They actually just wait for one of the cute little Korean players to go back to the Discord and be like, "Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to let you down, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to participate."
This is where we're at now.
Think of another sport, another esport in the world where you could have the best player in the world on your team, not take them to a tournament, and not have to explain it. Like, imagine if they didn't take Faker to Worlds and refuse to explain why. Like, they would just go,
check his Discord, mate.
We don't need to explain this. I don't know why anyone's asking, really. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 40 of Uncoachable. Our guest today is UltraViolet, and I'm joined by my usual co-hosts, Ultra Right and MK Ultra. And I'm, of course, Ultra Smart. We're going to be doing a preview of the Esports World Cup today. I'm sure you guys can figure out which one is which, but we're going to preview the Esports World Cup today. But before we get into all of that, I thought we would start by talking a little bit about Korea, because while a few of us have been unfortunate enough not to have a chance to go to Korea and have a boot camp for unknown reasons, UV has been fortunate enough. So what can you tell us about the experience there so far, UV?
It's so funny because I just think instantly about every Twitch chat message I get that's like, how's Korea ranked? Like, how much better is Korea ranked? Like, do you guys go to Korea to play in Korea ranked? And it's like, no, not really. Just the good teams are here. But yeah, there's definitely a lot higher scrim quality here. I mean, there's so many teams this time, right? Because last time there's only 2 from Korea, and then the China team. Oh, I guess in the second China team. But now there's 4 Korean teams? Well, Falcons just came back.
Everyone, right?
Yeah, 4 Korean teams, 3 China teams. Like, so much scrim quality is so high right now.
I think last season for EWC, I can't remember. Maybe it was ENS. There was one team, I think it was ENS, that didn't, their org couldn't afford the Korean boot camp. So for EWC, they just had no one to scrim because everyone else went to Korea. Like on TU, we were kind of under the realization that, yeah, okay, if we do qualify for EWC, I don't think we're getting the finances to get ourselves to Korea. So we're just fucked for the event anyway, because every team's going to get 2 weeks and we're going to have no scrims. But I guess even Nightmare are there this time, right? Or whatever they're called.
Sign.
And even M80 and Nightmare weren't there last time. I was on M80 just in America.
Yeah.
Just scrimming each other and fucking Collusion's in Australia on Twitter ping, and then Spectre is in Korea on Twitter ping. It's like, okay, well, we'll show up to the event.
Yeah, you just know you're fucked before the event starts. It's actually just such an impossible hurdle to overcome.
Got a solid 12th.
Yeah.
So how long have you been there now? You get started last week.
Yeah, a little bit over a week. I think we got here Monday. Yeah, Monday of last week.
And when are you flying out for the event itself?
Tuesday of the next week. So we'll be here for 15 days almost. Just really nice.
Yeah, that's massive.
Hopefully a good amount of time. Yeah.
Where are you? What's the facility name?
The Fearx Bootcamp. We're here with Virtus Pro on the floor below us and Alcad the floor below that.
Yeah, it's Yeah, it's what we went to. I think last year when we went, it was us, Peps, and maybe VP as well. Like that seems to be the go-to one. Whenever the Overwatch tournaments come rocking round, it's nice though, right?
Yeah, they're really nice. Like 24/7 PCs is really nice. Like just hotel is not very far. All that.
We didn't get the catering.
No, we didn't get the catering package, but we've Goldtech with us, just like telling us where to go. Just there's like plenty of good food we've had.
The catering's so good at TheorX. Actually, we got it. It was actually like they have like a proper chef who works on campus. It was actually insane food. You guys fucked up there for sure, unfortunately.
And actually, like, yeah, maybe.
Hey, GK, I think we're all right for it. GK.
Very grateful for GK and TheorX though for the 2 weeks and a half, or two weeks and a day.
I mean, I feel like it's lining up quite nicely, actually. Like all the teams, there's like no cope for any of the teams now, right? Like everyone's had a pretty similar experience. All the teams have been scrimming together. There's no like last minute patch change or anything like this because you guys are going to do OPR. So it feels like everything is actually set like really nicely for this event now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how long they've been on this same patch. Because this is like the same patch since the Stage 2 finals. Pretty sure.
Yeah, when was it like partway through the regular season it last changed? Like Stage 2 regular season?
No, it changed between week 1 and week 2 of playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Because we came back on week 2 of playoffs with the Moira Cup and we're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shout out.
Had to figure it out.
It can happen.
Yeah.
So can we get some scrim bucks then? How's it overall going for you guys in Korea? Wait, first thing is, what's your actual schedule like? Are you scrimming mostly Korean teams? Because I heard there was a few teams that like are Western teams that are only scrimming Western teams that can't get Korean scrims.
I haven't heard about that, but we've had some really good scrims. I think how do I say it?
Just speak the truth, mate. You don't. It's okay. Just speak the truth.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Like the Korean teams, we've been going even with most of them, and then like that's what I was gonna say. It's like pretty much every single stage and like tournament we've been to as like Geekay and Nightmare in this core, like we're always below like 50 scrim rate. Like even like every time we beat Liquid and like every time like we've like won like a big match, like our scrims are just never good. But now we're in Korea, our scrims are actually good, so it's kind of like more like nerve wracking. Like something's wrong here. But, I mean, we're winning scrims, so it's like not bad.
Should we jump into some of the action then? Because I feel like we got a lot of teams to talk about. But before we do like the actual Esports World Cup, I guess we have to talk about the final team to arrive and qualify finally for the Esports World Cup was Falcons from the Last Chance qualifier. If you watch that, you might have seen some familiar faces, me and the camel on the microphone, tearing it up. But the whole tournament was a little bit, I guess, underwhelming, maybe compared to people's initial expectations. But we at least got the Falcons ZETA final. I don't know how you felt about it, Max, but it felt like there was probably actually ultimately not too many good games in the whole thing, even though we got the final we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was hoping that we would get to see some like fun matches here and there. I thought like somehow it was more like Violet's team that was delivering the fun matches more than anything else. Like Violet's team going to 5 with the K-Tor and shit like that. That was good for a laugh at least, to be honest, because at least like there were high expectations on them, or high-ish, and they were almost like, you know, toilet bowl dogfighting with a full Saudi roster that people didn't really expect to go nearly as far. The finals are kind of just boring as though. Like, it's actually so outrageous that ZETA is so committed to the bit of letting people down that when it comes down to an elimination match to make it through the LCQ and be the 5th Korean team at the tournament or something, or the 4th Korean team at the tournament, 2 out of the 3 qualifying maps, Coach Yaki in all of his wisdom decides to put fucking Flora on Tracer for like all the marbles. It's like they literally they lost to EWC last year because Flora had to play Tracer versus Lenny, and they're like, you know what, fuck, double it and give it to the next year. It's just amazing performance from them. So crazy.
Do you guys think if there was 7 Korean teams that qualified, ZETA would finish 8th? Do you think that's like just what they go for? It's just like
Destiny. Yes.
It's actually absurd how few international tournaments this team's actually qualified for across their history, considering they're always so good. Like, it's almost laughable. I mean, they've only qualified for 1, right?
1 out of 5.
Just need one more slot. Just one more slot. Like,
because I feel like it's getting worse as well. Because last year they lost out to Falcons, I think, in the 2 decider matches, but they were both like 3-2 dogfights, and there's all the sort of like, we were like 2 fights away from qualifying for the major.
Yeah.
But I think at Hangzhou they got like 4-0'd in the semis, so they didn't make it. And then here they lost pretty convincingly in the 3rd place match to go to LCQ. Then they got smashed in these finals, so it just feels like they're actually getting further and further away from qualifying every single time. And
Just one more slot.
It was also just really, like the comps were really dodgy. I think as well, like you look at the maps they played. So we start on Lijiang Tower, which I think must have actually been Zeta Division's choice, and we're in like a fucking ball mirror for a bit, and then a lot of Flora Tracer. But then like, if I'm Zeta Division, the comps I'm thinking about going to are probably, can we force an Orisa mirror with like Bernard versus someone, or maybe even Bernard versus Hanbin, really fine, like his best hero, or can we go to some kind of double flex support map where it's better for Alpha Yi and Finn, and maybe put Chio in a situation where he has to mirror Alari? And we saw none of that. We just saw a bunch of like Tracer Venture for the first 2 maps, and then they swapped to something, like they swapped to like the Sim mirror on Esperanza and got like full capped. So I don't know. It just feels like it's dodgy and suspect decisions from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I'm shitting on them putting the skip on Tracer for all the marbles, but I thought that like their winning solution was going to be like really lean heavily into Sim, like across the board. It's like I feel as if the writing has been so on the wall about Sim, but not to the Korean teams somehow. Probably because they don't scrim against EMEA teams. Now they do, so I guess they will have seen it at this point. But it seemed like Sim was really, really strong and really, really underutilized in Korea. And if you wanted to like sneak a win through the LCQ versus Falcons, then having Pele on Sim would have been like the way to go about it. But clearly they like weren't very well practiced on it, because it was like a situation that they pulled out on map 3 and they just got fucking plowed when they tried. So I'm not sure if that means that they like never had legs on it, or if they didn't practice it enough. It's kind of, yeah, at that point you'd have to talk to someone on the team, which low key I think we're never going to do. But yeah,
we can just keep spreading misinformation instead.
Yeah, no, I respect that actually. Yeah.
Spring Flora in.
Yeah, I think the skip would be happy to have us.
Did you do interviews with the teams? Did you ever do them, X?
No, I was going to do it with Moby, but then like scheduling just didn't work out because they had like media day straight into it, and there was no what do you call it? There was no PPAs for LCQ, so like a couple of the teams like hit a gaming cafe or something, but there wasn't like an area where the teams had like consistent access to the computers before the events. So it was a bit tricky. And then I asked Falcons as well, and 9K was like, I would love to do an interview, but I don't think now's a good time. So I was like, so I'm gonna try again now we're in the Esports World Cup. Like maybe you qualified now. Maybe like enough things are going their way. But yeah, so they were both like Moby was up for it. It was more just a scheduling thing. But I feel like now I don't even know what you say if you're Zeta, right? Like we saw like a lot of the players and Moby go on Twitter and do the sort of like traditional Korean thing of like the apology to the fans, etc. But like I don't know what you do if you're Zeta Division now. Like, what's the next move for stage 3? Like it feels like it's really cooked for them.
With even less slots too than like EWC had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I think they're a little bit unlucky. Like in my feeling, I think we'll obviously talk about this when we start to make like predictions. But my feeling is like Falcons aren't the 4th strongest Korean team. Like my feeling is they're actually and always have been pretty good. So I think the fact that you have to go through Falcons and LCQ probably, I mean, you feel pretty hard done to. They probably would have preferred to play against like AGG or I don't know about T1, maybe not T1, but yeah, like you said, like 5th place getting 0-3'd, it's like. And then you don't even know, maybe they could pick up Violet or something, but you don't even, because there's so many like orged teams that are good in Korea, you don't even, like T1 did the last off season, stole all of like the best next step talent. I don't even know who it is this season, to be honest.
They had a chance, right? After they got rid of Violet, I feel like my expectation was they would just pick up Lee Soo Min because it was when they were still way before AG had come in. So I was like, well, they're unorged, you could take an entire backline if you want, like take Maka and Lee Soo Min. But now they're signed to AG, I can't see Zeta being able to poach anyone off these rosters. Like if you're on one of these other teams, is there any motivation to go to Zeta Division at all? Unless they're going to like double or triple your salary or something.
I mean, yeah, even then, presumably there's some sort of contractual obligations which would make it difficult. So, yeah, I don't know. It's
I feel like it's hard to
always-
see them like replacing
Yeah.
like one player and like fixing everything too. Like it just keeps like
Yeah.
happening like in every tournament. Like even if like slightly different, where you have Alfie playing or Alfie playing his role, or fucking Violet on flex support, like or main support.
Yeah, I think, like, honestly, I
Always
feel
one
like
step
Alfie
short.
actually played fine, considering like it didn't feel like he was the problem at all. It just felt like the entire team was just gapped.
But then
across
it's like, what is the
composition,
problem?
across roles? Yeah.
Who was the problem, Max? Anyone in particular in ZETA that you thought was an issue?
No, I wouldn't dream of pointing fingers at any of the Zeta division players. I'm bigger than that and better than that. And yeah, I wouldn't dream of it. But Finn did have a bit of a stinker. A couple of unforced errors, if you will. But
I figured because you're on the main broadcast, you've probably bottled so much Finn hate deep down inside that you need to get it out in this moment, you know?
Just like I seem to remember like a 1 versus 4 window coming out that was like, all right, mate, like settle down. There's still 2 maps for you to lose here. Like a 1v4 window is just bordering on outrageous. I didn't think the Skip actually had a bad series at all. Like the guys on Tracer in like a really hard matchup. Like he's playing Tracer versus Proper for an entire series and he's not throwing his brains out. Alpha on Lucio as well is like, that guy's a demon, dude. Like I feel like every single time that guy was beating and he's on like the precipice of death, he never Ajaxed. Every single time Violet would have Ajaxed that, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually so certain that Alfie is better at Lucio than Violet already. Like I'm so certain that guy's just like pure gold quality. Because like he was actually making some miracles happen apart from when he was just getting run down by a ram and dying in the final fight. But yeah, I don't know. If I had to point a finger just for the narrative, I'd go Finn. But yeah, that's nonsense. Like that team has bigger issues than just Finn.
It's time to take a second to thank our sponsors, Face It, who have sponsored us again because it is time for Season 6. For sign-ups are open right now. You only have until the 30th of July, so get going and sign up. In Season 5, Face It had 300 teams competing across all the leagues for a 50k prize pool, and there's going to be another 50k prize pool available in Season 6, so be sure to get involved and sign up. Face It League is really Overwatch's path to pro. We've seen many iterations of this. This is where the new generation of talent is coming from, and we've seen plenty of examples of this, haven't we, Chris?
We certainly have. I think one thing when OWCS started was we kind of really wanted this idea of promotion relegation. You know, if you show that you're good enough in tier 2, you can come and compete in tier 1. And there's tons of examples of this. You know, even the mighty Quick Esports taking down that little known superstar roster called the Ultimates. I think this season we've had Vision, who I think for most people's money, actually the level that they were playing at was easily tier 1 and better than quite a few of the teams. And then what you end up kind of getting is you get players that get promoted or get relegated that have opportunities to play in tier 1. I think if we look at players like Dip and Willies and Tamez too, even though at the moment maybe they don't have teams, for sure these guys after coming from the Face It League are going to be on an OWCS team next season.
There's so many players to actually keep an eye out for. Some people that have promoted through into the OWCS main product. You've got people like Crocs, you know, the Frenchman who might have, you know, a little bit of a tenuous relationship with Match Chat, but he is also a very exciting high-tempo player to keep an eye on when he actually isn't yapping as well, because he plays a very unique style, very aggressive. French Dongak, some people have coined him. Got Zorro, who's an absolute beast on the hit scan, has just been taking scalps all throughout the promo relegation, doing a whole lot there. If you look over to NA, we've got a PDK on the Dill Ducks. The P in PDK actually stands for prospect, believe it or not. For a man that's on a team that takes absolutely nothing seriously, it feels like he actually quite consistently performs fairly highly, at least in those promo relegation games from the look of it. And then, of course, you know, we're talking about Face It Masters. We're talking about Season 6. If you actually watch any of these Season 6 games, if you're an interested party when it comes to skunking it, perhaps, if you wanted to watch a Bull Skunk game or two, there's a chance that you could keep eyes on some of the players that didn't make it through. People like AST Design, who, you know, a bit of a next up tank player in North America who's more than likely to be playing in Face It League Season 6. Same as well with Cardi Fan. People have been talking about Cardi Fan like he's a Doomfist one trick, and then you throw him in the promo relegation. You throw him in Face It League Season 6 because he didn't quite make it through the promo relegation. and he looks like an absolute beast. He's introduced Wrecking Ball into the hero pool, and he's looking like a top dog for North America. If he adds one more hero, he might actually be a top team in the region. So Face It League Season 6 could be where he actually turns it around and becomes a top dog.
I think there's so many great examples of this. Now we've had several iterations of a promotion relegation. Even teams like TFW, who we saw at the LCQ, recently getting promoted to Masters Division and then going to the LCQ, beating Cold Metal, having a lot of really impressive results for a team that people weren't as familiar with. I think now we've had all these iterations, it really has just become a pretty consistent path to pro. There's way to get into the top division and stay there, whether it is with a team you get promoted in or get back into it. It really is the place to be if you're serious about competing in Overwatch. And the nature of Face It League as well is there's divisions below Masters and obviously OWCS. So whatever level you're competing at, whatever you feel is right for you, there's a chance to get on the ladder, start working your way towards that. So use our referral link to sign up, support Face It, support Uncoachable, support Overwatch Esports, and more importantly, just have a good time. It's going to be better than ranked. We've all made our careers playing in teams and being in team environments. We all know it's the best. So give it a go for yourself. Find some people to play with. Use our referral link and sign up now.
fte.gg/uncoachable.
On the flip side, does this mean Falcons are back? Was their performance convincing enough, or is the fact that ZETA was so poor kind of take away any actual chance for redemption at this point for Falcons? They need to do it in the main tournament. They did look like they had clear ideas on all their compositions. Someone playing the Ram seemed like a good solution for them with someone in the roster, and when they're not on maps where he can play like a Winston or something. So it felt like there was a better look. It felt more organized, but I have a suspicion that they were never actually truly tested by ZETA Division here.
I think I'm still not convinced, just because they haven't looked the same since they changed their roster, you know? They haven't looked like that same Falcons that was at the Hangzhou tournament, since they changed their roster and all the stuff that went down in the Korea stage tournament. I don't know if I'm really convinced that they're top 3, top 2 Korea right now.
I don't know. I look at it. I guess it depends on what the real meta read is, because I think probably a lot of different teams have different vibes. I feel like it's in a good spot for them in general, the way they play. And I get this feeling, especially I think if they win their group, which to be honest, I think they've got a pretty good chance to do. I think top 2 looks really achievable. I really think a CR versus Falcons final, I don't know if it's likely, but I feel like it's the most likely outcome right now. Genuinely, that's what I think.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into the seeding matchups between the groups. Yep.
Yeah,
interesting.
I know. I think I'm leaning kind of Chris's way as well. Now it all of a sudden it just feels like it's really possible, that they're just back. I think they're in top 4.
Yeah,
as in top 4 of the tournament.
The player quality is still easily enough to win the tournament. They are one of the teams that can win the tournament. There was I don't know how many teams can win the tournament. Falcons can for sure. And I think they're they're sleeper OP right now. And I think people are expecting them to be a disaster. I don't know. I don't see it personally.
Their DPS are always good for it. I'll say that. And any important match, they're good for it.
Yeah.
These comps, it's always them as well, right? Whenever they can just play a sort of Ram Bap Lucio or a Ram Kiri Lucio, whatever it is, something like that. Feels like they're always really in contention for it. I think this Atlas that we're kind of looking at a little bit now, it was actually just Fielder and Sheer were unbelievable. Kited everything, survived everything, even though the entire ZETA Division's comp is designed just to fuck up their day and ruin it. Fielder and Sheer were never getting punished, or it would take absolutely everything. So I think there's still all the quality is still there. I mean, in many ways, it feels like Falcons' biggest obstacle all year has been themselves. And it feels like maybe there's a little bit of getting out of their own way now. And maybe if they can get going, yeah, they still have a talent to win. Should we jump into some of the groups? Out of respect for UV, we can start with Group C, because that's where Geekay are going to be. And we can even start with Geekay as well, because I feel like so far the story for Geekay this year have been one of getting snubbed and overlooked and poached and stolen from, can't get an org, lose their best player. But everything always works out, somehow for the better. So, what's the secret, UV? How does it always work out, even when it feels like everything should be against you in these big picture decisions?
I think like it might be like a passion difference, unironically.
The hot gaff.
Like, funnily enough. No, but I think we're just like really sure about like what our game plan is, and like I think a lot of teams like don't really know like what their color is. I think that's something like Europe's really good at, is like they like have like strengths like with their teams and they like play to it. And I think like in an A, like I think teams don't really like realize like what their strengths are and like play to it as well, especially like with bands and like comps, but also like just like the styles like that they play, like and how they're like fighting and like the tempo they're taking and like who's like leading the pushes and stuff.
Do you worry that some of your unique looks are going to get a little bit, like, I'm probably thinking mainly about the Life Weaver BAP. That's the big question, because like Team Liquid can't beat it for love nor money half the time, you know, and you've had a lot of success with it. But when I look at it on paper, but when I look at some of these, say the EMEA teams especially, and they're like Sim Diva teams, I feel like if there's a comp designed to ruin a BAP Life Weaver's day, it's that Sim Diva, you know? So have you like, maybe you've scrimmed against some of it as well already, but like how big a worry is that for you and the team?
Yeah, I think definitely if like how the meta's developing, it's a little bit harder. And I think like it's against certain teams, obviously, it's like a little bit harder. Like I think against European teams, like it'll make sense that Map Weaver is not going to be as good. But I think we play a lot more than that. We have a lot more like versatility than just this Map Weaver that Liquid just couldn't seem to beat.
I feel like the Alcad versus Geekay series is maybe one of the more interesting ones in the group. Assuming that we believe what Liquipedia says, and you guys are like paired with the winner will play second in Group A or whatever. I feel like it's one of those where actually finishing first or second in your group, it's actually not massive. Like doesn't make a massive difference. Like whoever you play from Group A is going to be pretty strong because that's like an outrageous death group. And I also feel I do think for this podcast, we should disrespect some regions and make sure that their fans leave tons of angry comments in the comment section. But it feels like it's one of those where even if you don't beat Alcad or vice versa, it feels like you've got a pretty significant chance of getting through the group regardless.
Yeah, I think so. Just from what I've been hearing, I'd agree with that. I think the number, I haven't scrimmed CC obviously, but I think Rock's actually not even bad. I actually think that Group B could be like more interesting than people think.
Yeah, I feel like when I watched like a bit of China, and I feel like CC were good for it as well in terms of like deserved their win. I think they did a thing, you know, we talked about it a lot with like teams like Alcad and Twisted Minds, where they've essentially, in the off-season, they replaced their weakest player with a better player, and then all of a sudden, everything looks 10 times better. I think Team CC have done the same thing. So they replaced Super Rich. Super Rich does like the classic main support move of deciding, I'm too old, I'm too shit, I'll coach the team and we'll get another main support in. And it's worked out perfectly. Like they brought on Unno, who there's like an immediate word trap, but I don't know too much about him. But the games I saw him in, he actually looked really good for it. And the whole team just feels a little bit better. So I think CC, they're probably going to be, I think they are still like the second strongest Chinese team. The problem is, I think like Alcad and Geekay are they're too strong for them. So I don't think I think it's really hard for him to get out of that group.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a few scrims. I've been doing some investigating into EWC. I've got all the scrim buffs. Like making sure we have the most. So we have the most up-to-date information possible for this podcast. I'm super down on Team CC. I think like their stocks are very, very low for me. I think to be honest, Rock are good, but my feeling is that like if you were to do like the S, the A, the B tiers, I think apart from obviously Team China, the other two teams I think are significantly below the rest of the pack. I would be surprised if either of them. I mean, they can probably beat Zoocorp. Maybe not that hard to take, but I'd be surprised if they make a series out of either. I think maybe Rock is slightly more competitive, but I also, if you ask me to bet, I think I would probably say something similar there, where they're just a tier below all of the other teams.
I think they suffer the same problem we normally talk about Weibo, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more when we get to their group as well, is that invariably, like, the weaker teams in a region always kind of echo the top teams in the region. So I think all the weaknesses that Weibo have sometimes, where their biggest strength are on these Winston compositions, it echoes down as well to like Team CC and to Rock Esports as well. So they would rather be playing a lot of Ana, a lot of Winston where they can, but they really can't in like 9 out of 10 maps. I feel like at this tournament, there's going to be a couple of occasions where they can, but then they're stuck like wrong side of the meta. And then I feel like China's never been a region where there's been like a particularly strong sim player or anything like that either. So it feels like the combination of probably being the weaker team on paper than a lot of the teams in their group, combined with the meta not even leaning their way, it feels really hard to, I think, justify an upset or anything like that for Team CC.
And it feels like a really brawl like heavy tournament too, right? Because like Winston's like the worst it's ever been, and then like
no Ilios.
Flashpoint's new junk in Atlas, and then there's no Ilios. Yeah, it's like what's the costs are like Lijiang, Oasis, and Busan. Yeah. Like it's gonna be a really interesting tournament for sure.
Yeah, I think especially because Circuit's in the pool too, where the Brawl teams can probably, well, it's Circuit and Shambali, so it's like it's a Brawl patch, it's a Brawl map pool, like everything is very, very brawly, which is why obviously I decided to sign a dive double flex sport roster leading into this event.
It's like Ilias out for you.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Typical,
you actually called it as well. You called it so far.
It's so fucking funny. For sure, when they were deciding on Ilios, they checked, is Chris qualifying or not? Not, it's so funny if we take it out, you know?
This is the first time ever.
Yeah, it's just so Gabby, you know?
It's in some ways, it's more painful, Chris, because you can see the future, you can predict all of these moves, but you can't actually change the outcome of anything to benefit yourself. You're just still powerless, unfortunately.
I mean, I love how the patch yesterday too, they just like, oh, well, Lucio's taken a big nerf. And I was like, oh, well, just right in time. Thank you for that one, guys. You know, like just, it is what it is, you know, nothing I can do. It's just Gabby.
We should talk about Zocorp, I guess, very briefly. The biggest news for Zocorp mainly is it was kind of like swept under the rug a little bit. But if you remember, if you watched last episode, we would have talked about all the drama from the South American scene, the accusations. But good news if you're a Zocorp fan, they have been acquitted on all charges. They are good to play, and they'll get a chance in this group. I feel like for this team, and there's not too much to say, right? We all know what's going to happen to a lot of these sort of smaller region teams. Last year, Brazil went 0-9. The aim, honestly, for Zocorp, get a map, right? Get a map, and we're at least the best Brazilian team at a major since OWCS. So
it's like an 0-5 this time. You can't go 0-9, right? Like, even if you try.
So it's still technically better, like a better map difference, because you've just been eliminated quicker. But yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, hard to give too much copium here.
Then final team in the group is obviously Alcacia. Obviously come in heavy favourites to qualify, like we said at the start. I don't think it will make too much difference in terms of first or second. It's going to be tough games either way. But I feel like I was looking back at it, and EMEA has been so shit at major competitions for so long. It was, I think, Dallas, maybe the first major was the last time EMEA had like a respectable finish. So it's been so long since EMEA has been good. And I do feel like we do have a tendency on this podcast, every time we do a preview of a major tournament, to try and convince the world that this tournament is the time of the West and the time of EMEA. But this time, I'm more certain than I've ever been before that there is a time for EMEA to be good, and there is a time for EMEA to do well at the LAN. Like, maybe they won't beat Crazy Raccoon, right? But like, they can win like the non-Korean part of the tournament, and maybe they can even beat some of those Korean teams as well. If there's a meta to do it, it's a sim meta. This is the meta for sure. I promise you this time. And if there's a team to do it, Alcacia have to be, I feel like, EMEA's best hope.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to guarantee it on the podcast right now.
Guarantee?
No way, we got the guarantee?
One of Alcad or TM are beating a Korean team this tournament, 100%. You can print it, if not both of them. I think, according to the to the Bucks and all of my knowledge and all of my information, I think that these two teams, I think, exist in the same tier as any team right now. I think. I know we say this every year, but I think that I really think that this time is different. Genuinely, this time is different. Obviously, no disrespect to our guest, but my feeling is this is actually going to be a 3-0 in this meta. I actually think you guys are going to get stomped, respectfully. I mean, I'm always shit talking on here, so no reason to stop here. But my feeling is that I have no faith, to be honest, in VP. I think VP might even lose to both the NA teams. I'm not entirely sure. But I think actually Alcad and TM, I think are super strong. And I think Alcad are actually a team that, they could go top 4, top 2, top 1.
Is this all like sim centric?
I mean, I think from what I've seen, I think sim is a massive part of the meta. I think Alcad are very good at the sim. I think even if they don't have to play sim, I think this roster is insane. I swear, once every single team in the world is going to start to face Ziad's big fucking rockets, they're going to understand that Diva is being unplayed, okay? Like, UV, I'm warning you now, you're going to get into that official, and those rockets are going to be so big, okay? They're actually so big when Ziad's on it. And
I mean, I just couldn't believe I read the patch today and like they buffed Diva's rockets.
I mean, that's insane. You're
actually been
lucky.
saved by OPR.
Like, actually done
so
it. Like, Kappa, you're on
Ziad's
Diva,
rockets
like,
got bigger.
we'll go next tournament.
Yeah, it's nothing you can do. Like, they're already big enough, you know? But as of right now, I'm super high on the top 2 EMEA seeds. Just, I think, the level that they're playing, I think the meta, the map pool, I think you actually couldn't ask for anything better, genuinely.
Do you think there's a danger? It probably, a lot of this maybe applies to TM as well, is that maybe when Alcad and TM have been playing each other and the other teams in EMEA, now because everyone is sort of leaning the same direction in terms of the comps and the meta, now they get away with not really being target banned as much as they normally would be. Whereas when they start to play against other teams that maybe have clearer strengths, you know, like maybe like T1, Crazy Raccoon could really force the ball in places versus this sim, play a lot more venture. Is there a chance they're actually more vulnerable to the ban game than maybe we saw, at least domestically?
I mean, for sure it will happen. I think that, like, no offense to TU, shit team, like the quality of the dive that they're going to face at this tournament is probably higher than what we've been trying to show them so far. But I also think somewhere, like, whenever like EU teams have gone in with sim tournaments, like sim strategies in tournaments, it's always like kind of been off meta, you know, and it's always been like this like kind of cheese where you've had to figure it out. Whereas it wouldn't surprise me in this tournament if we start to see teams like T1 or Crazy Raccoons playing a lot of the sim on certain maps too. Like, it feels like this isn't a cheese. This is a massively favorable patch for the sim where actually you almost have to cheese it, I think, as opposed to out cheese the cheese, you know?
Yeah, I followed you through on that dairy analysis.
A lot of cheese.
Yeah.
Dairy.
I think with Alcad too, especially, is my feeling is they're slightly more well-rounded than TM in terms of they're harder to ban. Like, I think if sim isn't optimal, I think that they will be able to like, I think for us, I think Alcad solve like the high ground maps better with their like the way they've played than when we scrim TM, for example. So I think there's like elements of they'll be slightly harder to ban against. I don't know, we'll see. My consultant, he hasn't scrimmed Alcad, so I haven't seen any of what's happening over there. But I'm not sure. I don't think they're necessarily going to be fully locked into the sim, but yeah, I don't know. I think they'll be good.
I don't know how willing you'll be to answer, UV, but do you guys lean into it a lot? Because obviously, like, when we watched North American playoffs, it felt like you guys with Ramon coming in were the only team that really even touched sim that often. Maybe like Team Liquid a little bit when Knife was in, but it felt like you were probably actually playing it more than any of the North American teams.
I think we've been trying a lot of different stuff because, like, obviously, like, the Koreans have their own read on the meta, and then Europeans and the Chinese teams and all of that. I think with bans, it's like kind of. I think as like good as European teams are at the sim, I think they look better against each other because, like, one, they like both want to play the comp kind of, and two, like I think they don't like. I think they're like, it's really weird having a region like full of like off tanks. I think is like the really like big thing. Because like you look at Korea, you look at like NA, and like there's like so many main tanks, and like I think like the DPS are like really flexible, but I think like with bans and like stuff, like I think the Korean teams and like support and tank bans are like so strong that I think it's like not the easiest thing to do, especially in matches.
I wanted to ask as well, actually, while we've got you, because you've had a whole stage. You had one stage with Zero, one stage with Wimone as well. Obviously, like the surface level is Wimone's probably got like a slightly wider hero pool in terms of all of this. But what's like the big difference for you having played with one and then playing with the other?
I think Will's like super mature, and he's also like, yeah, I think he has like a much wider hero pool. I think it's like one of the big things we utilize with him this tournament is like utilizing that hero pool and kind of like playing around it, almost like catching teams off guard with like our different picks. Like didn't expect us to play the sim comps and the venture and all of that stuff, and the sombra even. But I think that, and like he also like he's not afraid to like speak his opinion. No, I think like something like really interesting on our team is like we're all so old. Like he's the youngest and he's like 21. So like I think it like kind of works well in a way that like we're all like pretty strong minded, but we also like we all like have like some we all like kind of can stabilize better, you know? Like I think it takes a lot to go negative on a lot of scrims and then like still like show up in the matches. I think that's kind of like due to how mature we are as a team. And I think like that match day performance is like really good for us.
Yeah, like the more experienced you are, the more you realize that scrims are actually fucking irrelevant, and people that keep telling you that EMEA is insane in scrims and then lose every tournament are fucking idiots. Thankfully, I'm 29 years old and I'm still fucking doing it. Okay.
It's a fair point actually, because I don't necessarily think of Geekay as necessarily like an experienced team. I guess it's mainly because I think of people like Ollie and Will and Dennis, and I was like, oh no, they're all just like young guys. But it might also be, now I'm saying it out loud, it might just be how I feel about everyone I've worked with. So it's maybe more of a me problem than an actual age problem. I've figured it out.
It's so funny. We'll go out and like you'll be like the youngest person needs to get us water. It's just like Will. He's just like 21, like it's a full grown ass man.
I wouldn't go that far, but I understand your point.
An Overwatch.
It just felt
a grown ass man.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel like it. I think we probably talked about it a little bit before on the podcast, but like especially Admiral, it feels like he's really grown into like a full player compared to maybe what we had on London, where he was like one of the quieter members of the team and kind of could just play Lucio for us at the level like that we needed, which obviously worked out okay. But it feels like he's really grown into like a full, well-rounded player.
Yeah, I think like biggest thing about like these players like that have like played for a while is like just like being sure what you're doing is right, you know? Like I think that's like the like biggest like advantage you get from having like veterans like on your team as opposed to like a full rookie roster is like these players like are like certain about like things that they know is good and like know like what the problem like mistake was then like that we need to fix.
Where would you put because obviously, where would you put like the high point then for Geekay at this tournament? Like how far do you think you can go? Because you set the bar pretty high last time.
So after A versus C, it should be B versus D, right? So if we finish number 1 in our group, we'll play the winner of B
That's
number
tough
1.
Because who finishes
so
second in A? Is it Falcons, ADG, Weibo? Like it's pretty tricky.
Yeah, but
to know who you can...
yeah, but also I think they're like all like it'll be a dogfight for that top. So it's like not really about who you play.
Yeah,
but then the second match will definitely be Raccoons, I think.
Yeah, which is probably slightly trickier in my opinion.
Yeah, could be. I think top 4 is a really, really achievable goal. And I think better than that, I think like I'll be like really proud of everyone.
Yeah, I think
But below
especially
top
depending on
four,
how
like
it,
we should be.
If you finish second, you dodge the Crazy Raccoon side of the bracket. I think you do, no?
Second in the group.
In theory,
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't say like the other side of the bracket's like easy though too.
Yeah,
I think
'cause you're
like
probably
T1's a
I
really
don't know.
strong team. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess the reality is like once you get to the semi-finals and stuff, like fuck, it's gonna be like
You're playing
some
good
combination
teams.
of like Crazy Raccoon, T1, Falcons, like a TM and out. You know, you're playing someone who's best in region anyway.
Yeah.
All right, you want a hop group? 'Cause I think
Let's hop.
we're probably all in agreement that yeah, Geekay, Alcatea are coming out in one form or another. I think there's maybe some EMEA bias, and maybe UV's a little bit biased towards Geekay as well. But
Do you think there's like, do you think there's a real world where these guys do just wind up immensely disappointing? Like, the Koreans just figure them out, and EMEA is a flop as they have been and as they always have been. I wouldn't believe in UltraViolet flopping at this point, but
The lights might get too bright for UV and GK this time. Like this might finally be like
Wait.
too bright.
Oh, you're saying an A,
I
or
think-
I thought you were saying you are gonna flop this
I
time.
was
okay.
talking about the Europeans. Don't you worry
Oh,
one
okay.
bit.
Sounds good. Sounds
this
That
is
means that
great.
you're
news,
going to
though.
do so well, though.
This is
like,
great,
If
yeah,
Max
every
is
time-
saying they're going to flop, we're so bad.
This is actually the best news EMEA could have hoped for. Is that now Max is threatening there's going to be some kind of choke and underperformance? Is locked in.
There's
Right,
no
too
greater
late.
prediction of
That's
success.
fancy
Is Max
sweaty.
telling you your shit? I mean, I think it's possible. It is possible. I think the officials will always be different. I just, I don't know. I got hope this time. I think EWC last year too, because like the problem is with every other tournament, you play only the top two Koreans. So you're always playing against prime Raccoons and prime Falcons. So upsetting them is so difficult. But even last year, right? Like we pushed ZETA to map 6. I think Toronto beat ZETA last time. The other Korean team, Fnatic, didn't even get out of groups or something, right? Like they got sent home quite quickly by ends. So it's like even at EWC last year, where I think the EU teams were weaker than they are this year, we still, and NA to be honest, like but everyone together, we still knocked out Korean teams because you got to play against like the 3rd and the 4th best of the region. To me, I think like I don't know who I guess I would personally say AGG are the 4th best Korean team. I think if you match them up against like the top of NA and top of EU, I think it's super winnable. Like it's 50-50 at best for the Koreans, But if you then say, one of the EU teams is going to knock out Crazy Raccoons, I'm probably less voting for that,
I also think all of the Korean teams look really strong this tournament. Like if you just look at the regional tournament, like how close AG and T1 and Raccoons like all played each other. I think there's like that thing that like Raccoons and Falcons will just be there on the good day, but I think like compared to last year, like where I think there's like a clear drop off between like ZETA and like Falcons and Raccoons, like I think all the Korean teams are like really strong for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think this tournament is actually just insanely stacked in general. Like, I think actually the level that everybody is bringing this season is going to be one of the highest quality Overwatch tournaments since the Overwatch League, like 100%.
Should we talk about one of those top Korean teams as well? Because if we hit Group D, that's for the group with T1, Twisted Minds, Sign, aka Nightmare, loaned to Sign for the purposes of this tournament, and the Gatos Guapos. And let's start at the top, because it feels like T1, they were doing so well in the regular season, they ultimately lose to Crazy Raccoon in that grand final, but it felt like all of a sudden everything clicked. Like all the talent we talk about on this roster all the time, like Donghack and Proud and all of this and Vigi, it felt like finally this was where it felt like the time to deliver. They still lose out to Crazy Raccoon in the grand final, but honestly, it was such vintage Crazy Raccoon bullshit where they just clutch all these sort of unwinnable maps and unwinnable fights and they managed to turn it around. But it feels like this team is actually like really just a contender for first place. Like that's like the aim for this team. Like almost anything less than a final appearance probably feels like a bit of a disappointment for this roster.
Yeah, I think as the clueless pundit that only spectates but not spectates the scrims, it's definitely the feeling that this team is just like going strength to strength to strength and could go like pretty much the distance. I do think that there's, like a nagging itch in the back of my head that says they'll never win with Zest. They'll never even come close. But maybe I'm just a little bit too negative about Zest. Who knows? I mean, Checkers has won the Overwatch League and then gone on to continue doing God's work over in EMEA. So I think crazier things have happened. But I mean, I'm kind of interested to hear what the the actual informed people on the right side of the screen might have to say about it, just quietly, because I feel like they might have a better indication as to whether or not T1 is actually beast.
I think T1 have been really good since the soup cut.
Oh yeah, you think the poop cup was the turning point?
That's what I was saying. I was like, that was when they walked in. I was like, this T1 seems pretty good. But
that was the inflection point. That one. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. No, they're definitely really strong. I think like they have a really well-run roster. Like I think Proud and Donghack especially are like really like high-level like Korean talents, like standing up to like the top Korean tanks and hitscans for sure. And their backline, like that's also very good.
I think they are insane. Like I think their performances were consistently excellent. I think maybe they're slightly unlucky with like the meta. I think we talk about like Winston getting worse. It feels like maybe they're the most dive reliant team apart from China at the tournament. Like
no, I feel like they've done pretty well on like a large variety of things.
Yeah, but who's
like they
more
do have
dive reliant?
You mean like I guess like CR Falcons better rounded, but I feel like it's not like to the degree of a weakness, Like they still played because they even won playing a bunch of sim in some of those maps as well in that Korea playoffs.
So I don't know. I think the way the bracket works, I think that D1 spot is really important because I think if you finish D2, you play against Crazy Raccoons right away, which I think even for T1, well, I'm certain they don't want to do that. And actually, D1 gets you to play against Team Liquid, presumably, which I think is a nice, no offense to Team Liquid, I think is like a decent draw into top 4. And I think even then your next game is like against the second of UV's group or whatever. So I think it ends up being like that TM versus T1 game, I think is, in my opinion, the most interesting out of all of the group games, because I think the ramifications of winning or losing are the most important. But I think there's a good chance whoever goes D1 could easily get to grand finals. I think with how everything's going. The question will be like if they do those sim stuff, if they can do that versus TM, seems like that would potentially be a hot take, or it will be interesting to see. And then the question, I guess, for TM will be, can they figure out how to deal with Dongas,
Yeah, I feel like T1 are probably the team that still, like, even more so than Crazy Raccoon, are the team that still lean into the ball where they can the most. Like, we've seen them do it in, like, the obvious ball places, like some of the Ilios and stuff, but they also did it on, was it Runa Sapi, where they played, like, Venture Ball, and they like, smashed ZETA Division with it, which maybe becomes less of an achievement every time you say it, but also, like, having like, a really, like, one of the best ball players in the world, if not the best, like 50-50 with jumping, and having a guy who's really good on Venture, actually feels like really good things to have if you don't want to take a sim mirror against the team, like these are like, I think, two of the key heroes you can have. So I'm really like, I think that one's just really interesting to see if T1 do just double down and play the sim themselves, or if they, like, how much they try and like counter comp it or play something else. I think this is going to be like, this will be a great indicator of whether sim is meta or not, I think. Like this match between TM and T1.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think personally I'd be very surprised if T1 lose. I think T1 like look like just like on the same level, not the same level I'd say, but like on that tier of like CR and Falcons. I think like they're like tempo, and like also like I think like before their weakness was that they like didn't really seem to have like a clear like style or like a way that like they wanted to play the game, and now like that they're like constantly just like playing around Donghack, like being super aggressive, and like their tempo is like really high and like quickly like changing from the point to a weak target or something. Like I think like they clearly like look like one of the best teams.
Yeah, I feel like they have like all the ingredients to win it. The big difference between them and like Crazy Raccoon is that Crazy Raccoon always win it. So they have this like, whatever you want to call it, aura around them that they just like what is it? Crazy Raccoon have won 3 out of 4 majors. Like Crazy Raccoon don't believe they can lose, whereas T1, like, even if we always talk about his roster's talent, but what's the biggest achievement any of these players have, right? Like Donghack winning mid-season, season 6. I guess Vigi technically won it too, even though it's like a bench player. But I feel like the Falcons and Crazy Raccoon, they have now, whatever you want to call it, that like...
No, I agree.
I can't think of like match day mentality. I can't think of a non-cheesy way to say it, but like they've done it, whereas T1 have to do it for the first time now.
Like, I look at it and I think like T1 have a higher chance than Falcons of finishing second. Like, I think they're more likely to go further in the bracket, but I think they're less likely to actually win it. Like, I think if Falcons do get to top 2, I think Falcons can win it. Whereas I just have this feeling with T1, no matter who they're against in the final, I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't see them lifting the trophy. Like, I think that on paper better. They're playing better. I think that they're likely to go further unless it's the grand finals. And then, like, I think with Crazy Raccoon, the only team I think that can beat them in grand finals is Falcons. Like, they're the only team that can mentally.
Are you suggesting that the lights are going to be too bright in the finals for T1? Is that what you're trying to say here, Chris?
It's stake theory. We've discussed this before, But
theory.
Falcons
These are the biggest
stakes. Yeah, this is it. The only two teams that can handle the stakes at the highest are like and TM, obviously, because they won the World Cup.
You're just renaming the bright lights. Like, stake theory is bright light theory. They're one and the same. Like, you're clearly pushing the same thing on both sides.
No, it's different, mate. It's my idea, not yours.
Oh, of course. Classic stake theory, actually. Now, drop a 100 emoji in the comments if you think that stake theory just makes sense and is completely distinct from the
thing is, mate, I'm not trying to take the piss yet. Well, I am, but bright lights theory has been wrong every time. Every time you've mentioned the lights being bright, it's always been wrong. That team's always won. Whereas, as far as I'm aware, stake theory is undefeated. Like it's always good on stake theory.
I feel like this is like a classic political strategy where your party doesn't do quite well and starts to get a bad reputation. So what you do is you break apart the party, reassemble a very similar but not quite the same party, slap a brand new name on it, and then push it to the public, and then the public buy in again.
Oh, that's a good idea, this one.
All right.
Bright screens theory. The screens were too bright.
Yeah.
I think
I'll go on, sorry.
For the TM-T1, I think, to be honest, if TM can make the match close, I think that's a good sign for you, to be honest. Because as much as like T1 aren't gonna like beat Raccoons, like I agree with that. I think against like the not Korean teams, I think they'll still look very strong.
I feel like this is also gonna sound like a version of Bright Lights theory and stake theory, but I do feel like as well. I feel like T1 as well. Like if that series starts to go wrong against the Sim or something, I feel like T1 will be more susceptible than these other top teams to it as well. Like there's going to be a test for all the non-Sim teams in terms of if you come into play versus the Sim team and you have a couple of ideas of what we're going to play versus it and what we're going to try and do, and then you play map 1, it doesn't work. And you have a slightly different idea for map 2, and it doesn't work, or it's like you run into these problems. There's going to be there's a bigger mental test there than if you're just playing a mirror and losing it closely to a team or something. I think so. I feel like that's going to be a big test for all, not just T1, but I guess Geekay as well when they play against Alcad. If you don't have a solution for the Sim, what do you do, or can you figure it out live? For TM themselves, though, I don't know if there's going to be really too many surprises here. We talk about Sim so much, so no surprises that Mr. Sim himself is going to be on Sim and trying to lead TM to glory here. Very much expect as a result. Now we're probably just mostly going to see KSA in as well. That really seemed like they went back to that at the Saudi E-League. Seems like their bread and butter. They're probably going to play a lot of same version of comps. I guess the only question is, it feels like KSA is so much more ram-pilled than maybe, especially than Ziad and even than TVNT, if that becomes more of a problem for them, especially against some of these these dive-centric teams, or might try and play ball or stuff into them or something.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I have this feeling that Alcad of the EU teams are more flexible in terms of what they play, but I think one thing that I think TM will be the best in the world at is playing sim against everything. Like I think the UB factor, like I think if it's in the mirror, if it's against the dive, if it's against anything they play, I think they'll find a way to play that comp because that's what they've done. That's what UB's done for millennia now. So I think they're less flexible, but in a way more flexible in terms of the way that they play it, I think. I think you're right. They'll play more Ram than they'll play Diva, but I'm not sure. I think it's fine.
I don't know if that's a weakness of this map for.
Say that again?
I don't know if that's a weakness of this map for.
Which one? The Ram?
Like, yeah. That Ram's like just really strong right now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Ram is been discussing so he just holds those fucking hands, you know, and then you can't.
Iron Mike season, baby. Like,
yeah. I think that's one of those heroes where maybe you guys did it too, and EU played it a lot, and then Korea never touched the hero. But I swear it was always just fucking broken. Like it.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
Was. So yeah, I don't know. I think TM have a lot of confidence. I think they're gonna do pretty good. I mean, the only danger for them is if they do, like, imagine they lose like 3-2 to T1 or something in a dogfight and then have to play against Crazy Raccoon. They could end up going out early without actually being able to show how good they are, you know? Like, they could get quite unlucky with the bracket there. I also think TM, like, for me, if there was like a Western team to upset one of the big teams, I actually think TM have the highest chance of any Western team. And I think from what I heard, I think their scrims look pretty good right now.
Yeah, it feels like, I don't know. it's the same problem I keep coming back to of like I want to believe, because we sort of talked about the sim a lot, but I feel like Ram also falls into the same category, right? Of a hero that the West prefer compared to the Korean teams and compared to the Chinese teams as well. Like I have like no strong memory of ever seeing Gushwei or anything on a Ramatra or anything like that, you know, or any of the Chinese teams really running it. Same with a lot of the Korean teams. Maybe someone has the best reputation for it. I know like Hanbin and Max play bits of it as well, but I feel like, again, that's a hero where the West feels way closer than some of the others.
I mean, the thing is, it's always cope, right? But like, I feel like the comp that I see a lot from some teams is like, it is like some sort of like Ram Sim, hit scam, whatever. And I just look at like your DPS line on TM, and I swear they just gap every Korean team in that meta comp, you know? And I swear KSA is going to gap the Korean Rams. And it's not like Simple Astro is bad at like Lucio Kiri or Lucio Bap or whatever the meta ends up being, you know? Like, I think it's very rare you can say pound for pound that, like, the teams are individually better, but I swear on this comp it's true, you know? Like, Quartz for sure is as good as any hit scan in the world. Like, he is just absurdly good. Like, he is Korean level, you know? So, I like, it's unarguable, I think. Really, really unarguable. Like, the same level as Lip and Proud, I think. Really, I think he's that good. So yeah, I don't know. I think TM have got a good chance here.
Not only up against Proud in this one, but also Quartz going to be up against Chronic.
Oh, that is a clash of the Titans, isn't it?
As Sign coming, because I feel like reputation-wise, Chronic best Freya in North America. I think he's got it on lock. I feel like there's probably consensus there, but. This is like the real litmus test, right? You know, we see Chronic carry a lot of series on Freya, have huge impact. But now, can he do it against Proud? Can he do it against Quartz? Can he do it against these teams? Maybe even in general. How far can they really go? Because actually, this group's really tough.
Maybe the Brights will be too late.
Finally, this time they'll be too late.
There's like a junction moment for us here as we get onto this team as well, of like, do we double down and say there's no way this team?
I mean, if this team beats like TM or T1, then I don't know what to say. Like, I'm just fucking cooked at this stage. But surely this is one step too far, you know? Like, it's one thing eliminating Max from NA, but like, we're playing for real now, you know? I just, regardless of anything, I look at the comps, like, I feel, for what it's worth, I feel the same with Team Liquid. And I think Geekay have got a better chance than those two, but I look at the comps that NA was playing, and I was saying this always, I swear to fucking God, if you get a sim against these comps, I swear it's just, like in hard counter, you know? The same, NA plays so many disgusting comps where if you just had one D.Va player in the region, it's just all game over, you know? Like, you guys can't play this shit in EU. Like, so much of the meta of what NA played was kind of designed in a way, like what you said, like main tanks, right? And the lack of ability to play. I think Sim and D.Va are the main two. So I've no idea how their scrims are going, but I feel like if they rock up with playing like a Rissa Bap Brig or a Rissa Lucio Bap, I swear to fucking God, you get melted in half a second by Sim. Like, I swear it's actually impossible. There's no way they make it work, I think. If they come with something new and it turns out they're all just next up, then at some point I'll back down and I'll apologize, you know? And the fact that they made it here is pretty impressive. But I mean, regardless of what you think of NA versus EU, I think even the most biased towards NA must admit that the meta in general feels EU favored right now, you know?
I think there's a lot of time in between that though. And like, it's like, the main things, off things, like, we're playing these comps, like, I think, because like, it's the teams we're playing against. Like,
yeah.
So I think like with 2 weeks of scrims, like I agree. Like I think if they were playing those exact same comps against European teams, like I don't think Liquid like would have a chance. But I think like surely like 2 weeks of like scrimming Korea boot camps and like not even just the EU teams, like a lot of teams are just playing sim. Like I think all the matches like interregional will definitely be like good matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? Like, you can get away with playing greedy comps if no one can pick D.Va, and then all of a sudden you're playing against Hanbin, and it's like, well, I probably can't play that greedy comp anymore.
Yeah. Or like nobody's picking like Hazard in a year.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Even with some of the like the sim stuff, it feels like, especially NA mirroring EU on sim feels a mistake. So they need to find some sort of counter. In my head, I can't quite see where maybe Hazard is the answer. Like, maybe Hazard is like the best comp.
Hazard Freya or something.
Yeah.
And then they can just get like, if Painkiller and Chronic are on their best heroes. And I think like Hazard's pretty viable, right? Like Geekay still played a lot of Hazard in like NA playoffs as well. Like, I think there's still space for this hero. And it becomes a little bit more viable on some of these maps. We talk how none of it's suitable for Winston really, but I feel like you can get away with it here. And I think there's probably going to be a few teams, like when we get to Weibo as well, they're probably a team that's going to have to rely on this. But I feel like Sign have to just do something like that. I think if they just end up locking maybe just like a ground mirror and like Rocket mirrors Sim, I feel like that is just going to be like a mismatch versus TM, you know, and a mismatch even versus T1 as well, you know. Like, I think Zest's actually been one of the better Koreans on Sim out of the ones that have played it, you know. So I feel like they need to do something that is their own, but what do I know, you know? Just
what do I know?
They've got to do. Well, they just got to do something better than works. Yeah, like I think it would be more interesting to see them lean into something like that, like play the Hazard, play the Freya, see how far you can really go with it, you know. Because it is like they do come in like, even though I think they are very much like guaranteed to get third in this group, I really hard to see them going above either of these teams.
I also like they like really would have benefited from having more time in Korea, but I think they got here like just the other day, so I think it's gonna be hard to like. I think like those players like first time like land a lot of them. Like I think like being at the boot camp, like the more time like is like way better for them for sure. And I think like they'll get a lot from this, but I think it's like Liquid. I think like will improve a lot more just like because they were here longer and more experience and stuff like that.
Are you saying they've never played on a stage like this before? Are you implying there might be some kind of luminosity?
Bigger stage theory.
Yeah, we should get Utter's opinion on this.
Oh, I wouldn't even dream of accusing a team of suffering from any sort of stage issues, stake issues, light brightness issues, anything of the sort. And Team Liquid, I mean, they are absolutely proven when it comes to the stage. I mean, I'm so sure with this roster that they'll be good for it too, because I wouldn't even dream of spinning a narrative around the team underperforming when thrown onto a stage. I'd just say that they're going to lose for other reasons, you know, nothing to do with the stakes or the stage or the lights.
Last team in this group, I don't know if we're going to have really too much to add here, but is of course for Gatos Guapos, which once again Punk refuses to miss out on Esports World Cup. Gets himself back here, and it's a lot of the usual crowd, you know, in terms of this sort of like Australia, New Zealand contingent, like Aki, Color Hex, Niang, who isn't either of those. But maybe the funnest part of this is that Rak is qualified for the event, which makes him so far not just the most popular streamer that Genji have, but also the member of Genji with the most competitive success this year as well.
The most successful, yeah.
Yeah.
And the nicest too.
And the nicest. So it's really...
So
it's
nice.
all
He's
coming
got
up for
everything
Rak.
as a Rakatar. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is. I think
it'll be-
most teams who are like the bottom seed in each group, I guess we kind of feel like there'll be a similar fate for them. But don't think this team's qualifying. But I also think knowing the players, they don't even care. You know, like they're just here for a good time.
They've already won. They have
Yeah.
they have played for a holiday and they have secured a holiday. Everything is going to plan. They've already won. There's nothing. They've already met their expectations of getting to the
Yeah.
tournament. So whatever happens, can't be disappointed. All right, should we hit Group B then? And then we'll use Group A as our finisher. As I've heard some people calling this the Group of Death, and I might be inclined to agree. But we'll start with Group B, which obviously contains Crazy Raccoon, Team Liquid, Rock Esports, and Varel. So, I mean, we started talking about Team Liquid a little bit already, but I feel like Team Liquid have had maybe, do I want to say this? The most disappointing of all the OWCS teams in terms of their year so far. I feel like they've not really got a meaningful result so far. They miss out on the first major, they lose the grand finals, and then this roster that was built to dominate North America and be the region's best hope internationally can't even win their own regional tournament. Really just seems sort of, I guess, a shadow of all expectations, either after adding Zera.
Even after poaching, they still can't get it done.
Why can't we all just get along?
Let's just be
UV?
nice, guys.
Huh?
Come on.
Some good strats from them for sure.
I guess
But, yeah.
Good
My big-
adaptations.
My biggest worry for them is that, like, when because obviously it was a close grand final against Geekay, but most of the comps they won on was like playing ball or something into Geekay. I think they won a Malga match up as well, maybe on like New Junk City. But it feels like maybe on the dive map as well. It feels like the problem. This is what we would always used to say at like other tournaments for Western teams. Is the problem is if you can win domestically on dive, you're cooked at these big events because you're going to run into a Weibo or you're going to run into one of these top Korean teams on dive. So it feels like a lot of what they've relied on to get like wins in America won't apply once they hit some of the international competition in the same way. Like at least Korea. Maybe it's still like a decent matchup into EMEA, some of these comps, but I feel like especially against Korea, they're going to run into real problems. And then they don't have the same chops on the like brawlier stuff either, so I just don't see a way. Like, what's their win condition, or what do they lean into that's going to give them the edge in some of these like big matchups?
Don't know.
Fuck.
I mean,
Nobody
think-
knows when.
I think it's actually kind of weird, right? Because I think Tracer's really strong right now, but also not very strong in like a weird way. Like in that, like she individually is strong, but I think like the comps that are good right now are like kind of like the sim and the stuff like make like Tracer like doesn't give her
Yeah.
enough time to like get value, and like I think that's like one of Liquid's biggest strengths is having Zero on Tracer, right? Like I
Yeah.
think it's fair to say.
yeah, no, I think you're right. I think, yeah, I don't know. I agree. I think they just don't. I don't know what specifically. Like, it feels like their group itself is one where I do feel like they'll beat the two teams below them, and I do think they'll get blown out by Crazy Raccoon. And then maybe that game in the next round against T1 or TM will be quite fun for them, but I just don't see them getting past top 8, to be honest with you. I think they'll get out of groups, but I can't see them going much further.
I think Rock
feel
could
like-
put up a good match.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know what Varel's skill level is. I don't know if anyone's scrimmed them or not. I actually have no idea if they're good or worse or whatever than Rock.
I think they're like China number 4. Like I think they're a little bit weaker, but not too much weaker in like my experience.
They
Like,
kind
they're
of
some
got-
strong players.
Yeah, if you remember 2023 World Cup where we played Team Japan in like every scrim because we shared a practice room with Team UK.
Yeah,
It's like a lot of the same players as well, like KSG and that. But then they've also got Top Dragon and they've got a Korean player called Slay, not to be mistaken with the Danish player also called Slay. So it's like Top Dragon's obviously like a good player for this level. Slay, I think, plays like flex support, so they do a lot of like Juno Kiri type stuff. Again, I feel like they probably fall into the category that their biggest strength is when KSG can play more of these dive heroes, and that's going to be tough from here. But I think actually with Top Dragon and Slay, they're like, if you put all of the 3 minor regions in a group, I feel like Vara would probably come out on top.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But then, yeah, they're going to struggle with the same thing of like hard to punch up, I think.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a chance that one of like the Rock or Varro can turn the Liquid series ugly. Like if they win map 1 or something, I think you can start to apply a lot of pressure. You know, turn the intensity of the lights up a little bit, make it super bright for Liquid.
It's like make the stakes way higher. You know what I mean?
cook the steak more. You know, from medium rare to well done. But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this is like, it has potential to be an interesting group. I think, is this the most likely group for there to be an upset? Probably, right? Assuming that like assuming that Group A there's no upsets because everyone is like similar.
Yeah, you don't consider it an upset, then yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that actually. Yeah, I don't know what to make of Rock. Like, I know you guys have been maybe a bit keener on them, but I was like not impressed when I saw China. I feel like they swapped, what was it, Choi for Taejong coming in, like that swap with Vision Esports essentially, but felt like kind of side grady. Again, like a lot of the stuff we talked about with Team CC in terms of like these players are or this team is at their best when they can play something a little bit more dive heavy. You know, like I think like Farway, probably their best player, probably also best when he is on the Ana as well. So they maybe miss some of that, like the ability to play their peak comps or the comps they can have the highest peaks on. So I don't know. I feel like it would take more of a Team Liquid fumble than anything else.
Yeah, I think Liquid be like outrageously. They would just get trashed on by everyone if they lost to Rock. No, like even if Rock are like building up some scrim box and stuff, it's like, come on now. Like,
yeah,
there's no way, is there? Like, surely they would get absolutely raked over the coals if they lost that. Everyone is expecting Liquid to come top 2 in that group. I think even if there's like, you know, a little bit of a higher chance for an upset than some of these other groups, you know, probably going to do better than the South American team, Old Rock. I still think it would be like a real outside shot for them. But hey, I'm just
what do you know? You know what do you know?
I'm just coming from the perspective. I'm coming from the perspective of the person that hasn't watched the scrims. Right, the 2 people that have watched the scrims appear to think that Rock is, you know, just good to make Liquid piss themselves in the clutch.
I think that's it. I think they'll make them work for it. I don't know if I think they'll. Yeah, but
this like.
Do you think they're gonna have any?
Nobody's playing dive, right? Sorry.
Well, Callum might be. Like, you never know.
Just in his room by himself.
him and Heesung are taking the Wisdom 1v1 at home right now. I don't know. Honestly, the more I think of it, Rock can do it, mate. Rock can do it.
I feel like Team Liquid are in this really awkward situation as well, where the way they've set everything up, like if they do ever want to lean into the sim, because I think if it is like as strong as everyone thinks it is, and as everything seems to be indicating, what will normally happen is even the teams who don't want to play in this comp will play it somewhere, right? We saw in Falcons versus ZETA when Tracer was banned. They didn't want to play sim anywhere else in the series, but fuck, Tracer's banned and we kind of have to play a ground tank. Well, just the sim is the next best option if we can't just force Proper or Flora, I guess, on Tracer. So I feel like there's going to be these situations where the teams who don't want to play sim still have to play sim in some form on certain maps. And I feel like the way Team Liquid have set themselves up with Knife being that player for them just feels really awkward. Because it telegraphs a lot what they're going to do, right? So if you ever see Knife on a map that you don't normally see Knife on or don't expect him to, you know what they're going to lean into. You can ban accordingly as well. And I think, again, Knife doesn't really stack up. I think we've talked about this idea before of the concept of having the sim player on your team not natively speak the same language as everyone else on the team. There's always this inherent problem. Like I know there's exceptions to this, you know, like Checkmate is like the go-to example, but Checkmate has also been on English-speaking teams for 3 years at this point, or like 2.5 years at this point, and been a very vocal member of all those teams. So there's a lot more history and experience to that than Knife has. So I just worry that Team Liquid. I mean, I don't know what they've been playing in scrims, right? But it feels like that door is maybe closed to them more than it is to other teams. Like Falcons, you can just say, "All right, proper, just play the sim and make it." Play a version of it.
I think also this seeding B2 is also such an awkward spot because you have almost no way to win the group. I think even Team Liquid would probably say I'm not being too critical by saying they're not going to beat Crazy Raccoon to win the group. And then you're going to play the winner of Group D, which is a like if it's T1, it's a really strong team, or even if it's TM, it means they're doing really well. So actually somewhere it feels like this group for them, it feels really difficult to see where they get out of top 8, assuming again, like all we're talking about is if Liquipedia is correct, which I think it is. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's yeah.
In a weird way, is that almost kind of nice? Because
unless you really shit the bed.
Well, like if they lose to Crazy Raccoon, right, it's really hard to get on. We love getting on our soapbox, but it would be even hard for us to get on our soapbox and be like, I can't believe Team Liquid lost to Crazy Raccoon. What are they doing, And then they play T1, and then they lose to T1. Again, really hard to be like, what are these guys doing? Can't believe. Or they play TM, and you just go, wow, seemed like the perfect meta for TM or something, you know? And it's like, actually, they might just finish in like sort of like whatever it is, like 7th, 8th spot. Or I guess it'll be... Will it be like 5th to 8th, full tied essentially? Yeah, 5th to 8th.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's almost just kind of a shrug to it, in terms of like, well, yeah, they beat the teams they should have beaten, and they lost for teams that you would expect it to be really hard into.
It's definitely very much the opposite of what we've got going on in Group C, with a 4-3 securing us Group C, and we play the A number 1 or A number 2. It's like, well, I mean, either way, it's going to be like a relatively hard game, but not like too much different, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think your group is more winnable, and even if you don't win, your next opponent is more winnable, So it's like, I think your seeding is, much better.
I guess that's how you want it to work, right? Get the top seed, get a slightly better path through the bracket. It's all worked out.
I approve of these groups.
Right. We've had a guarantee, we've had it approved, it's signed. So yeah, I think this group is probably the one, Group B, least likely. Actually, the order they are on your screen there, that's the order of the group. I think there'll be no surprises there. So only leaves Group A, of course, which is where it gets really messy. It's going to be AG or AGAL, which I think stands for all gamers, anyone's legend, which is just...
Of course.
Yeah, they've renamed for the Esports World Cup. It's basically just anyone's legend is the name of their League of Legends team. So they've just got all of their teams and wrapped it under one. Oh yeah,
because you've got to do it for the points or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
so they've wrapped it all under one neat parcel for the purposes of a competition. But functionally, from the Overwatch point of view, there's nothing like a loan or a transfer or a merge. It's the same body behind it. Obviously, Weibo Gaming, Virtus Pro, and we know that LCQ spot is now Falcons, which means this group is, well, about as tight as you can get, really. So where do you want to start with this one? Who are we gonna scrutinize first?
Maybe start with VP. I think VP for me are really similar to Team Liquid, where I look at it and I just think, what can you do better than everyone else that you're going to play against, I don't think they had anywhere near as good a stage in stage 2 as they did stage 1. Obviously, maybe not the hottest take from me. And I don't know. I think they're likely to finish 4th, and they're going to feel pretty hard done to because they're going to see the other teams that finish 4th and think, oh, we're miles better than them. But I don't know. I don't know how they win.
Sim? Is it not the sim? Because I know they got outclassed in EMEA, right? By TM and by Alcad. But they don't need to beat TM and Alcad on the sim. They just need to, because it feels like the consensus is like we're all pretty certain it's going to be like either the meta or at least a major part of the meta. So surely they're a better sim team than some of these other teams in the group, right?
No.
Because they've been in like the sim gulag in EMEA, you know, like playing these top sim teams.
Maybe they have unlimited footage, but I swear whenever I used to scrim against JWoo, like we would win a map if he played sim, and then he would swap, and then they would obviously win every other map. But I swear he looked like the most lost sim, like TPing off the map and shit. Like I really, really, really don't think he's got the sim gene. I have no idea how their scrims have been going and stuff, so maybe Smash has been in a sim-related boot camp with him, but... And you're right, like, they have footage, right? Like, every single scrim they've done for the past months has been against sim legends and teams only playing sim. But, I don't see it.
It's all the same problems we talked about with Liquid, right, as well. Like, everything we said about Knife being, like, the reason it's inherently hard to have him as the sim player is the same applies to JWoo as well, right? Like, I think his English is fine, but I don't think his English is like, I can lead a team fine. There's like a big gap.
Yeah, he's very quiet. More of a gentle whisper kind of communicator than a hard calling. You know,
what you need is you need Shockwave to do some kind of UB type cosplay to take over and just direct every single TP for JWoo, and then that's the solution.
Well, then your Symmetra would be a hit scan player, so it's just not going to work.
No, I think he calls the TPs.
No, he calls it for him, you know? Like, JWoo just shut up, JWoo, and follow instructions. I will micro every decision, you know? Just do as I say. Because I feel like in general, I do like regard VP as like, what do you call it? Like a well put together team or a smart team, you know, in the way they play a lot of their situations. So it feels like Sim should fit them or be something that like can work with them. But I feel like that's going to be their only hope, right?
I think VP were insane. Like the best team in EU at taking the map, like as individuals at the same time, you know? Like everybody kind of like took the space at the right moments. Like VP retakes were always the best retakes in Europe because they would all, like Shockwave was really good at finding like a separate angle. They would all like go at a similar time, but they would all be doing their own thing, you know? Like Smash just take an angle. But it's like the sim, it's so fucking different, you know, like really like the way that UB will be coming it's like the retake style or the hold style, it's the complete opposite. So I actually don't know. Like I think you can make an argument that VP's unlucky because I think if they played against like some of the NA teams, like I think they would maybe have confidence to be able to like compete with them, like they would do better. Like this group is obviously just an insanely difficult draw. But even then, even if they're in a good group, I don't see them beating any of like the Korean teams or anyone really, unfortunately.
What about like the double flex comps, right? That should still be, you know, you look at a few of these teams, like it's not good for Weibo really, is it? It's not that good for Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, they might be good for like a...
It is good like for HE, obviously, but...
Circuit map 2, block RAM or, I don't know, do something like block support, whatever, but... Nah, just...
It's not enough for the series.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way I feel about Liquid. I just don't... I can't see the vision, you know?
I can't see them doing without Sim too, like playing an off-tank like hit scan, like centric style, like without Sim. Like just seems really hard right now.
Yeah. Unless they're just going to play ice, but even then, it's the same thing. Like you're going to mirror
still,
these.
Like,
they're against a lot of good dive teams in this group too. You know, like they're like probably the worst. I mean, they're definitely the worst dive team in their group, right? I don't know if they're the worst sim team, but I don't know. I don't know what they do better than anyone else in their group. Unfortunately, like the deal everything fine. I'm sure they'll take maps. Like I'm sure they'll look competitive. I don't see how they win a series, unfortunately.
Do you remember when they played that New Junk City against TM in the lower finals and they put ice in and they played like Junker Queen, Venture, Tracer? Actually, I guess so we're really sort of like all in. We're going to play like, you know, when people used to call Brawl Rush, because this is almost much more a rush comp of just we're going to play super high tempo, super aggressively. We're going to infantry trading. And they just looked really hopeless on it. Like they just looked like all the highs they're able to reach on these other comps, they couldn't even come close on this style of comp. And I think obviously that was a while ago, but it just feels like there's certain types of compositions this team can never really excel on. And then a lot of the other, I feel like in metas where they've not been able to rely on their style of Overwatch being like really prevalent. A lot of the time, it's been like Jwoo really carrying in a lot of these situations, and obviously he's still really good at Tracer. But again, if you just look at all the other Tracers in this group, and it's like Sunjun and Proper and Leave, like it's like Jwoo will compete with these people, right? But he doesn't gap them, like So yeah, I know, hard for VP.
Tough group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby.
Yes.
Although to be fair, like the third seed of each region should get a tough group, you know? Like it's the same with NA, like their group's tricky. Like if you finish third, then the seeding's always gonna
Seeding doing its job.
Yeah, because even if you swap Falcons for like Varel, it's still a tough group to get out of as the third seed, you know? Like it's unlucky that they got the LCQ because LCQ was seen as the weaker, but like they might be the second best team at the tournament or something, you know? Like that's kind of annoying. Yeah. But even then, whatever group they were gonna get.
Well, who are the other third place teams like, right? Sign have TM and T1 in their group. But it doesn't feel unfair for Sign, right? Because well, you were third in your group, so inevitably you're going to get two other tough teams in your group. It's just kind of what happens. So yeah, out of all the teams that can maybe feel hard done by who got lucky on the draw and who didn't, VP were probably in for a tough group no matter what.
Yeah. It's probably Weibo who should be the hardest done to because they're the first seed and they're like, oh my fucking god, like everyone's like insane. Like all the other first seed from each region is like, yeah, we should qualify easy enough. And then Weibo are like, fuck, we might be fourth, you know? Like they have the hardest. They can be the only team that complains about the seeding realistically.
Should we talk about Weibo as well? Because I feel like they are also a team, like we said with the other Chinese teams. The meta is not good for them, right? Like every time we see this core of the roster do really well or excel at a tournament or inevitably beat some version of that Falcons core, it's always when they can just play Winston, a lot of Winston and Brig as well. Even a lot of their success at the Hangzhou Major earlier in the year came playing Winston, Kiri, Lucio. So it feels like their real peak comp doesn't exist. Maybe they can get like a second map pick Gibraltar, right? In the same way we talked about, everyone can have a good second map pick between like Circuit Royale and Gibraltar, really. But I feel like I'm really worried actually if I'm a Weibo fan here. I think they're probably going to rely on Hazard a lot. Hazard, Kiri, Lucio has been their go-to. So maybe there's an argument. It's a unique look and stuff like that. But yeah, I think really worried for Weibo getting out of this group.
I think definitely it'll be like the Weibo versus AG match, like the decider, right?
Yeah.
Like
if
I'd
imagine maybe Falcons top and then Weibo and AG scrap it out.
Yeah,
that will be a dogfight. I think that's like got 5 maps written all over it. I think it could go either way. To be fair, that's at least the thing with Group A is every single game in that group is really fun. You know, like there's no bad fixture there. Even Falcons versus VP, I think will be fun. But yeah, I don't know. My prediction is I think Weibo will finish second. I think they'll get out. I think they're not bad right now. Even you're right. I just don't think the meta favors them enough to win the tournament. You know, they're like the Chinese TM in a way. You know, like they just play the opposite stuff. But all of the strengths and weaknesses, or like how far you think each team can go, it's always like this like meta related thing where if it's their meta, they're the best in the world. If not, it's tricky. I can't see them playing any sim, to be honest. I'm not sure. So, I mean, I think I think they'll finish second, but I think it's close. They could easily finish third.
I think the thing is just they've been practicing a lot of even before, right? They were trying to play the Maga comps. I think they kind of saw this this Winston one trick style wouldn't really work out, and I think they've shown that they're trying to kind of diversify. And Gushue is a very talented player. You don't just be the best set in the world at Winston, and you can't play other heroes. But I think when it comes to these matches between the top teams, and there's really it's the smallest things that make the difference. And I think having players like Shy and Leave and Gushue in those fights where the smallest things make the difference, I think it's pretty clear that they'll come number 2.
And I also think if there's a single team in Overwatch history which outperforms their scrim win percentage, it's always this team.
True.
I swear, they've never once had good scrims, and then they're just fucking monsters in every tournament. So I think the fact that their scrims don't feel that good right now, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's So
These
are
Got
you
the
guys,
just
guarantee
like,
the Weibo too.
are you just full like talent and belief pilled for this team? Like even if you feel like the meta isn't particularly good for them, you just think like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what, there's just too much talent there.
Yeah.
I'm like not a huge believer in that narrative nowadays, to be honest. Like I think stage one, like bro, they came like 4th to Falcons, and like they were absolutely able to play the only thing that they're like tier 1 like god tier at, you know, like really like insane at that. Like they played like Maga and these other looks, but like are they actually that good at that stuff? Like I feel like their main support's like really weak, like way weaker than like any of the other teams that are like even remotely in contention for top 8. And I don't know. I think that they're like so much weaker off those comps. I know that there's like a huge. I'm not talking about like practice results, and I know that there's like lots of belief in their ability to perform in the big matches. But I'm really like not super convinced that they would be a second pick.
I think they won't touch Maga or Ram at all, except if they really need to. My feeling is they'll play like Winston, Doom, Hazard. Like they'll always have some variation of a dive tank that they'll swap in whenever they need to swap in.
They played like a decent amount of Orisa in Chinese playoffs. Like most of the maps, like ironically, they actually lost a Winston and a Brig Mirror in that playoffs against Team CC, but they won all the Orisa maps against them. So I think there's like, they have a version of a comp. I just think they're like not as scary. And I think actually like watching it, I think I'm going to put Shy in the same boat. Because like on Freya, I feel like Shy hasn't hit anywhere close to like what you expect from him. Like he was losing all these duels to Dia, and no disrespect to Dia, who obviously is also going to be at the tournament, but there's going to be much better hit scans than Dia at this tournament. Even in that grand final as well, it was actually Weibo banning Freya to force a Sojin mirror to try and get it into a more comfortable situation for Shy. And to be fair, once they did that, Shy took over the lobby. So that's always possible, and I think it's not like Freya is a must pick in maybe the way she was when she first came out, but I think there's more stuff going against Weibo than there probably has been in any tournament recently.
The potential saving grace for them is if they do make it out versus like AGG, and they always beat Falcons anyway, right? Like Falcons are they always play each other at some point. They always find a way to play it, and someone will be locking the Winston, and we'll get at least one dive mirror. Their seeding will mean that they play like the winner of Alcad versus GK, which they will probably themselves feel like they've dodged like a T1 or a Crazy Raccoon sized bullet there. So they could, even though the meta's not good for them, and even though they're not playing that well, they could sneak into top 4, like just through the nature of the bracket. I know. I guess it's like I guess it all depends on how we rate AGG, which I think is like obviously maybe one of the last teams to talk about. Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, that's just how I feel too. Is like they're not facing T1 or CR, and like I don't think they'll beat Falcon just because like even though they have these good players, like it's just I think the meta is like obviously like way worse for them. But I think against AG, I don't think it'll matter as much. Like I think that like from playing against Proper to like Sanjin, like no flame to Sanjin and like that roster and stuff, but like
As a fucking
I think like
Sanjin hater,
it's
like
definitely like more like up and coming.
Can't we all just get along, UV?
Answer's taking a stance against
Okay.
player hate,
UV's
unfortunately. UV,
Hunter's been so nice this podcast.
Toxic
Actually.
DK players, bro. Whatever.
Honestly,
I don't know,
Max, ever since you put on those sunglasses and started smoking, you've been much more relaxed. So maybe.
You've been so chill, bro.
Maybe I need some sunglasses.
Yeah. Can somebody get UV a cigarette? Yeah.
I'm dropping players' names. It's just,
I mean, winning, bro.
But to be honest, I agree. Like, I think of the 4 Korean teams, I feel like AGAL are the worst. And I don't know. I look at it and I think because they played quite a bit of. Did they not play like a decent amount of dive in their games too in Korea? Like they weren't afraid to.
Like Ball and Hazard, yeah, they were like. They played a large variety of stuff. Yeah.
That's the one advantage
guy.
Weibo always gets every tournament is they always get. You know how like T1 finished. Like you remember when T1 beat that Crazy Raccoon in that series because Crazy Raccoon just hand shook. Fuck it, let's just play dive everywhere. Weibo get that every time they play against Korean teams. You know, they always just get like more dive mirrors than they should be allowed in any given meta. And I don't know. I swear it'll happen again. You know, like I swear they'll get 1 or 2 against AGAL. So, and then I guess is the way the seeding works. Weibo get VP in round 1 of the brackets too.
Yeah,
because Falcons come in as the 4th seed.
Yeah, I don't know that confirmed, but my presumption will be it'll be because each team is like has 1st to 4th. Now it'll be 1st versus 4th, which is AG versus Falcons, and then Weibo and VP play each other. So that is actually like I think a really pivotal opening fixture because like losing that game and then I don't know, you've got to really run the gauntlet then.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's like even though there's a lot going against Weibo, I feel like there's just I think they're getting 2nd. I do. I think they're getting out.
I feel like AG are the hardest team to predict out of all of this because I feel like AG's peak is like some of those maps you watch them play where they just happen to be on a comp that suits them and it all comes together. They look like the best team in the world and they can take maps off anyone and stuff like this. But I feel like there's also a huge variation in terms of what you get from them as well. I think out of all the teams we sort of talked about as being potential top 8s and stuff like this, I feel like they've had consistently the dodgiest map drafts and the dodgiest map picks as well. So I think for a team that in many ways like does a lot of the things, I feel like has become more successful in Overwatch, like leaning into your strengths, letting people play the heroes they're good at and sort of working backwards from there. I feel like a lot of the time they really just don't set themselves up to actually have that success. So I feel like AG could finish bottom almost. Like I wouldn't put it past them just like crashing out and finishing bottom or something here. Like I feel like their performance is going to be a huge swing factor.
In the Poop Cup, VP 3-0'd AG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it the old
That was
version
Top
vote?
Dragon AG or something, wasn't it?
It was without
Who are you? Top Dragon.
Oh, it was Top Dragon, so it was it was like the weekend version, but yeah, I mean, I agree. I think AG. If someone told me AG won the group, I actually wouldn't be like massively surprised. If someone told me they finished 4th, I don't think I would also be massively surprised. I really think they could finish in any of these positions.
I just feel like AG has a reasonable chance to take it to Weibo, honestly. Because overall, like AG, like they play all of the like tricky heroes that are good in the meta, and not to suggest that like there's DPS line flexibility issues necessarily for Weibo, but like this is what AG has been like consistently succeeding on. You know, like AG is a DLC team. Like they're just playing all the DLC characters, all these new like weird characters that are like currently good for the meta. But whereas like the Weibo roster, they're really like relying on like this being incredibly good at like something that is not incredibly good right now. And obviously they have like flexibility. Like I know old mate's like pretty good at Hazard. But I don't know how good he is at Hazard, and I don't know how good Hazard is right now to make up for it. So I'm just not like 100% convinced, but I don't know. I feel like the winner of that's the deciding match, right? AG versus Weibo. I think that's the one that's probably
that would
like
be
the
my
main
feeling.
contention.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are leaning more towards Weibo.
To be fair, I think you're right. Like I think it's close. Like I think it's out of all of the groups, it's by far the closest. Like that matchup, like who finishes 3rd and who finishes 2nd.
Yeah,
I would give me like 60-40 Weibo.
I'm going 3-1
Streets.
Weibo.
3-1. Street's been saying that this is the group of death. I wouldn't go that far, but Street's been talking about it. Certain pundits.
Why wouldn't you call it the group of death? It is, no?
I mean, it's just not very respectful. You know?
Oh, okay. I mean, why can't we do that? You know?
I mean, like there's 3 other groups like that worked really hard to get there, right? Like
all those people work hard. It's not me mean any specific team either.
Yeah, I mean, all groups are the same to me. You know, I love all my groups equally.
Is it true that Weibo are also maybe like the most bannable team as well? Because they're so, I feel like not just is Gushway limited, and obviously Winston is almost banned by the map half the time anyway, in terms of being too hard to play. So then he's forced to play Hazard. So if you ban Hazard, you can really put him into like force him onto Orisa. And then likewise, I feel like Mew really needs to play Lucio. And they just really want to play Lucio Kiri everywhere as well. I feel like there's actually almost like if you ban Hazard and then ban a Kiri and then ban a Lucio, There's like so many ways to bully this Weibo roster compared to.
It's a good thing that AG are fucking hopeless in the draft because you just solved the draft for their match, but they're not going to
well,
it out. So.
It's just only going to be applicable in 2 out of their 3 games, yeah. Well, I'm sure AG will just, handshake on it, and we will just see Milgaru up against Gushue in a Hazard, Kiri, Lucio mirror, with Lee Min running it down on Lucio. And unfortunately, AG will not be able to see any way to circumvent getting into this situation. So, it can happen. I feel like, as we've been going through this as well, is everyone sort of leaning towards the same implication here, that Falcons are going to win the group?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 I think the meta is just good for them.
I agree.
I feel like, we talked about how AG, you could almost justify them in like 1st to 4th spot, right? There's this whole, like, it could go any way, or maybe like 1st to 3rd or something. I feel like Falcons, they get out of the group no matter what. Like, the 2nd is the lowest they finish in the group.
I think there's probably a reality somewhere of where, like, I think you guys said it, either we said it on the podcast last week or you said it on one of the streams or something, that even the level that Falcons played versus Crazy Raccoons when they got knocked out of the playoffs, that version of Falcons probably beat most of the other Korean teams. Like, even then they weren't boomed. They'd fucked themselves so badly previously that by the time they'd sorted it out, they had to overcome the biggest mountain in the world, And I still feel like that, Like, I still feel this is a team that has always dominated everyone else in the world except one team. And I don't think they're back to their best, but I think there's a lot to be excited about in this meta for them. And yeah, I think this team could easily go grand finals, I think.
Yeah, I really hope there's a T1 versus Falcons match. I think that'd be like really interesting.
Yeah, I think if both win their group, that would be the semi-final. So that would be potentially fun. Yeah,
really quite possible. Yeah.
I
feel like the biggest hole for Falcons probably Hazard, just in terms of someone's Hazard doesn't feel like it's reached the same level as anyone else, and Hanbin as well felt like he's often been outclassed when up against the other Korean teams. But there's also a bit of me that worries if that's like really a niche problem more than anything like fundamental problem. So I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, I think they'll do well. I think this version won't beat T1 or Crazy Raccoon, and maybe this team could also lose to like a TM or an Alcad or something. I feel like that's like on the cards for them. But yeah, I think they get out of this group no matter what. Does this mean as well, so is Proper and Merit the best choice then?
I mean, it's probably what you're going to get, I think.
I would have just taken Proper Stalker between you and me, but yeah.
Well, keep that between
Stalker's
us,
played
mate,
Sin,
okay?
yeah? Like, are we putting Proper on Sin?
But isn't Stalker just
Sim
not
in
playing, like, regardless
Played
of...
Sim in the mat.
I thought it was like a decision regardless of what's the right decision.
Yeah, I think it's just something going on in there.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, the only information we ever get out of Falcons is through one of their players moaning to their Discord. So we only have little tidbits of what it is. But the implication from both players is Stalker and Proper are both like, oh yeah, I really want to play Flex DPS, and Proper feels the same way.
That's so funny.
And it's just like, yeah,
so
like,
funny.
I feel like if I'm Stalker, like, don't you just shut up and go win a championship? Like, what do you mean you don't want to? I don't want to play my heroes. I really want to play. I'd just rather play Tracer. Like, shut up. Just play fucking Sojourn and win a title. Why don't you? Like, is it that hard to stomach playing a different role to have a chance to beat Crazy Raccoon?
I reckon it's more complicated than that, for sure. Like,
you reckon it's like a more like internal team issue?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's just like, I want to play the other role. I reckon it's definitely like way more like issues within the team and stuff like that. I think like there's no, for sure it's not just like being a baby and wanting to play the hero. It's probably like multiple people being babies and not wanting to play with each other too.
Thing is, I'm reliably informed that 9K would absolutely love to do an interview to clear some of it up. Like, couldn't think of anything he'd rather do more than an interview.
However, find him at a good time.
Where's the kicker?
It's just not a good time for it,
Yeah, it's just timing issue.
We'll get back to him when it's a good time.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm hoping for a good time soon. Because obviously this would quell all the rumors, right? Same with it's happened a few times already this year where like something mysterious happens on a team or like a player stops appearing in the starting lineup, and it's just radio silence from the organization about like where one of their players is or why one of their players used to start every fixture but now can't seem to be found anywhere, you know? So I feel like there's a bit of a gap here where teams should really justify these sort of decisions to their fans, I think. But
I just think it's
What
weird
game
that
do you
announcement is coming in these player discords, like you're saying.
yeah,
That's how everyone's finding out. It's just like, guys, I'm not playing this next tournament. Like, okay, sure.
I mean, the org
Well,
just
yeah.
refuses to announce anything. The coaching staff refuses to say anything. They actually just wait for one of the cute little Korean players to go back to the Discord and be like, "Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to let you down, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to participate."
This is where
in
we're at
tournament."
now.
Like, yeah, just take the fucking piss.
Think of another sport, another esport in the world where you could have the best player in the world on your team, not take them to a tournament, and not have to explain it. Like, imagine if they didn't take Faker to Worlds and refused to explain why. Like, they would just go,
check his Discord, mate. Like,
we don't need to explain this. I don't know why anyone's asking, really.
When Ten Hag dropped Ronaldo back in the day, he was allowed to just
He
he
was-
was asked
no
27
question.
million times a day. Even he given the answer, he was still asked 40 times per day.
But I mean, I guess.
Issue.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, to be fair, like, because for whatever reason, the choice seems to be merit plus one, and they sort of did the Stalker v merit experiment, right, during stage 2, and it looked mostly bad up until that last game against Crazy Raccoon. So, if these are the two options, I guess it makes enough sense to try the other option, and it's not like subbing in proper is necessarily going to make you put your chances down that much, and I mean, they passed the test so far, right? The test so far is, you know, Team Vision and ZETA Division, but they passed the test so far, and I think they probably are odds on for this group,
Yeah.
which I think gives us coverage of all the groups. So I guess we've sort of like talked a little bit about who we think's getting out of each group, how we think the brackets will go, but I feel like we have to do some kind of money where our mouth is segment now, where we pick like top 3. Because there is going to be the way the format's going to work is we're going to get the top 2 out of all these groups. We're going to go into an 8-team single elim, but there will also be a third place match, so there will be a third place team as well. And I think I want to say 40 grand difference between 4th and 3rd, like 60k to 100k. So probably worth it for 40k, I reckon. So let's do top 3.
It sounds like an
In order.
OWCS China prize pool. All right.
You want to start, UV? You've got a top 3.
So not including ourselves, obviously.
Why not?
I just
Because
think
I asked
like
for top 3, mate.
it defeats the purpose of the top 3. But I think I'd put CR T1 Falcons for sure.
damn it.
In that order.
CRT one, yeah.
Hunter?
It's like I desperately want to believe that it can be CR T1 and like an Alcad. I don't even know if the Alcad part is like possible with the way that the bracket works, but I'm just like a little bit of a believer that these European teams, like they had secret sauce, you know, like they actually had something that could win them the fucking esports World Cup. And they've just been like in the gulag grinding it for literally 6 months straight. And before that, they've been grinding it for years straight. And the Koreans have no idea what to do into it. And the Koreans have no practice against it. And what the Europeans have done is they've gone to Korea to make sure that the Koreans can figure it out for 2 weeks straight. So like, I
Not
would
the
love to put
Americans.
out. I mean, you guys aren't inventing sim grow up, dude. Like Bap Weaver just loses to a fucking like some random kid picking D, but like you're done for. But Alcad, like I really thought that they had like something that could win them the esports World Cup. You know, like they could just stay in Europe, jerk off for 2 weeks, show up at the tournament and win the esports World Cup by picking sim. But I just don't think it's possible. I really don't think that it's possible if they
You think
give
they've
the
given the
Koreans
game
2
away?
weeks to figure it out. Yeah, I mean, even if there's like, but I'll put Alcad in my top 3 anyway. You know, I'll put Alcad at 3rd just because I think that like there's outside of like the real top tier Korean teams, it's hard. And I think if you can't like pick the ball, I think maybe there's actually a very reasonable chance. And I think Falcons can't pick the ball. So I think I'll go Crazy Raccoon, T1, Alcad in that order.
I'll go third place Falcons, second place Crazy Raccoon, first place Twisted Minds.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We said it was for put your money where your mouth is, and it's an outrageous prediction.
You know what it is? I just think in a best of 7, I think TM are favoured because I think they get to play more maps of their comp. So I think all they need to do is get to grand finals, which is easy peasy. And I swear they're actually in like an insane position for it.
You can't say step 1 is get to grand finals.
It is.
Like,
Step 1, they just win the grand finals.
That is actually a really good step 1. Like,
I mean, yeah.
coach of the year.
People always mess up on step 1.
Yeah, I feel like I might go like Alcad third as well. I feel like all the logic points towards it. I think Unter has like a good point about like, I can't remember what meta it was. There was another one as well where EMEA, and we were convinced like EMEA and the West had the advantage, and then we just played Korea at it for a while, and then it turns out they got better at the comp than we did. I think Sim should buck that trend a little bit. Like, I think these Korean players just don't have the same level as players like UB and I guess like ironically Checkmate. But
famous non-Korean.
Once again, Checkmate continues to be the exception that proves the rule. So I think like I could go an Alcad third, and then for me it's between T1 and Crazy Raccoon, and I really want it to be T1 because I feel like I think it was maybe something you said, Max, where you were like, you can't believe T1 can do it until they do it, just because it's it's not happened before. But I feel like they have all the talent. When you actually look at this Crazy Raccoon team, I think they're probably the team we talked about least, maybe. But I actually think this meta's a bit wank for him, really. Like, you have to play Orisa loads of the time. You maybe put Max in more often. Like, Max has looked good in this stage, but still, like, it's not... They don't have the same ability to lean into their ball, to lean into Shuzana. I feel like if there is a meta and that's worse than this team, it should be Crazy Raccoon. So maybe I'll go with it. T1 over Crazy Raccoon, and then Alcad in third.
Yeah. Oh, there was something you said earlier as well, when I was fiddling around on my phone, where you were saying that like the T1 roster doesn't have like players that have already done it, but it kind of does, right? Like Dark, he was like one of the like ultra winningest players. Obviously, they kind of crashed out in the playoffs. They had like a big team boom, but like that's just classic like Falcons core theory where they just are fucking toxic and fall apart. But like. It's not just Dark that has had the results too, right? Because Skewed has two. Digi was a bench rider, but Skewed has two. Like, Skewed was on Glads, and he won Mid-Season Madness and Dallas and all that stuff. And, like, that was off the back of his performances too. Like, he's a real performer for those matches. When he gets to play his stuff, he's really good. And now everything is his stuff. So I think for sure there's a chance there for T1. And I kind of fuck with your theory too. Maybe I'll switch my Crazy Raccoon and T1 placements, actually, just because I fuck with the theory that, like, the more Crazy Raccoon have to play Max, the worse they look. Even if they win, like they literally like won versus Falcons playing the like the Soy Jack Circuit Royale Zarya mirror at the end. But like ultimately, the more they have to play Max, like surely the weaker they look, because Jimin's just like that guy. He's like their X factor in a lot of ways. They got a few X factors. What was that, UV?
This is new theory. This is the Max theory.
Max theory. This is not new theory. This is old standing.
This is like
propaganda.
Keffa theory.
This is the type of propaganda they were dropping on the Vietnamese in the '60s out of planes, dude. Like everybody's read this shit. Like this is. I promise you.
Keffa goes, oh, we can win now.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's a good point, actually, because I sort of forgot about Skewed. Like, I think the Vigi one is kind of like, he was around, but he was like such a small part of that Atlanta team's success. But I feel like the Skewed one's actually like a really reasonable shout. And I think, like these sort of compositions, like Crazy Raccoon aren't the best. Like, if Falcons weren't in the state Falcons were in, this type of meta would be one of the ones we're pointing at Falcons, saying they can beat Crazy Raccoon, right? And I feel like that is true in terms of Crazy Raccoon are more vulnerable than they normally are. It's just Crazy Raccoon's version of vulnerable is they just clutch it on map 7 instead of 4-0 in you or something.
Yeah, it's like they look so vulnerable. They like kind of look dodgy on like days 1 and 2, and then on day 3 they win the grand final. Cheers.
Well, they have to do like something insane clutch to win the map, and of course they do the
Yeah.
insane clutch. But like what was it? Do you remember that Saravasa where Lip just went crazy in the grand final? When it was like, yeah, T1 deserved to win this map, but then Lip just changed the course of history a little bit, and now they don't. And then the same thing happened on Circuit Royale. They were set to be like go on to third point, and then Heesang just has an insane clutch, and then it's all fine. So yeah, all right. So our grand conclusion is only one of us thinks Crazy Raccoon is going to win. We've got 2 for T1, 1 for TM, and 1 for Crazy Raccoon. Okay.
That's good. Good shout. So, someone will be right.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the guy that voted for TM. So let's put a fork in that.
We'll see. We'll see, mate. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, then one thing we should touch on, because it actually came out very recently, is all the partner skins. By which I mean
Fine.
some of the partner skins are now available. If you haven't seen, you probably live under some kind of rock. But the partner skins are here. There are skins now for all of the partner teams for, was it Ramatra, Venture, and Anna. And there's also a Mercy Legendary as well. So we've got, plus, I guess the most unique bit, because the skins are probably Overwatch League-esque in terms of, I think they're slightly nicer, some of them. But like, it's just the branding and the color scheme on the heroes. But I think like the banners and the sprays,
Yeah.
feels like the teams have had a bit more input in terms of these and have a bit more sort of uniqueness and character to them as well.
I swear just the natural color scheme of your org, it's actually so RNG if your skin's going to do well. Like I feel like some of them, like if you've got like a nice color scheme that works for your logo but doesn't work on the Overwatch heroes, I swear no one's going to buy your skin, you know?
TM's is rough, I think.
It was the same in Overwatch League, no, where it's like if you had the pink skin, if you were Spark, you just got infinite skin buys because it was pink. Like nothing to do with anything.
But Paris's were shit, right? Because it was just like 2 dark colors next to each other, so it just had like no vibrancy or no pop. So it's just, what can you do?
Yeah, I thought TM was gonna like have more pink, but then they just wound up being this like strange kind of like green-red duo that looks really hideous. Like I thought they were gonna be the pink skin, but it just didn't turn out that way at all. They're actually like their primary color just isn't pink. It's like more red.
It's that turquoise-y.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't really work for me. But yeah, I just think lots of people were expecting more skins, right? That's probably like the biggest thing that I've seen on social media. But
yeah,
a lot of people are asking like, oh, why don't we have every single skin done? And I mean, the reason is that like these skins are like more personally branded than like what the Overwatch League skins ever were, right? The Overwatch League skins were like some color coding and like some very fixed points for the team branding. Whereas I think these skins have like team branding in different locations, unless I'm mistaken. Like there's something different about these skins compared to the way that the Overwatch League skins were like recolored, unless I'm actually tripping.
I'll try and get some kind of fact check. But I think
On
you're
Honor,
right.
I think it's like all the same.
I feel like they look
but-
nicer than the they look
Our
nicer than the
skins.
Overwatch League ones.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's kind of a shame that it took so long and it wasn't like, I feel like most teams would have maybe loved the idea of like, I get to choose my heroes and stuff. It feels like
That would have been cool, yeah.
Yeah. One thing that's maybe really nice is that the Mercy skin is like the crowd. Is it crowdfunding for the EWC?
It's
It's
not
crowdfunding for
crowdfund-
the partner teams.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
partner teams, it all goes into one pot.
Right.
I don't think it's all of it, but whatever, like a pretty high percentage of the sales of it go into one pot, and then that's split amongst the partner teams.
Right. Because the probably is, I know people talk about it, but there probably is like an outrageous difference in when there's a Hanzo skin to crowdfund it versus when there's like a Mercy skin or something. Like it does feel like the devs could just chuck us a bone and just give us the really popular heroes so that everybody buys it who doesn't even care about the esports necessarily.
Or made it, if a team's got to pick, because imagine if it's like Crazy Raccoon and we say like, oh, we're going to have Ball,
skin
Anna,
and Anna, yeah.
and Farah or something, and then TM are going to have Ram and Sim and
Yeah.
Lucio or something. There's like a that would have been like a really cool way, I think, for the teams to influence it a lot more, because you get certain things like, you know, teams looking at it and going like, oh, do I really want the, I don't know, I'm trying to pick one, like the TM Anna skin, like what, or the TM Venture skin, what sort of reference does that actually have to the TM players and the comps they play, you know?
I like the icons and the name cards a lot too. I think like how they personalize them was like really nice. Like they're all like very unique and like all of that. And the sprays.
Yeah, I think like some of the sprays are actually like really good.
Yeah.
And some of the banners are like really good. I think like the high point of the cosmetics is honestly like that compared to the in-game skins, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I 100% agree. 'Cause, I mean, you can't
I
see their
think-
skins in game.
Yeah, exactly. But those cosmetics are actually like quite nice. But it's all bundled
Yeah.
together, right? Like you have to buy it all to get any one part of this. I think I saw that on Twitter. So it's not possible that like you just have like an icon that you like. I don't think you can just buy that and then you have to buy it all.
Yeah, you can buy like just one set, just a team set, but you have to buy all of it, you know? So if you want just the Falcon spray or something, you have to buy all the Falcon stuff, essentially, yeah. Because, yeah, I don't know, I feel...
The Falcon spray, specifically, is poo. So, not that one, but the others, like, yeah.
But wait, I swear, who was it? Was it 9K? Where is he? I feel like I saw 9K tweeting about the spray. Hold on. He doesn't have time to speak to me, but if you ask him about the Falcon spray... go on to 9K's Twitter. I love spray so much.
That's his comment. I love spray so much.
Stop telling me about the sprays, 9K. Where's Stalker?
Just reply to him right now. Where's Stalker?
Where's Stalker?
You're blocked, mate. You're blocked.
But yeah, I feel like that's been like the two major complaints I've seen have just been that one, people can't buy stuff individually, and I think maybe people were expecting more, but I don't know. I feel like there's two possible explanations, right? Either the other ones weren't ready because like some of what like Max touched on in terms of there's a bit more goes into them, etc., or it's just intentional, right? Because let's say they just released every skin for every team right now, then there'll be a huge rush for people to buy all this stuff and get all the bundles and all their favorite things for their favorite players. But if they drip feed this,
do you think more will come out?
Yeah, my impression, like if I had to guess what's going to happen, is like then every major or something, they just release like either a new bundle or a new set of skins for each team or something, you know? Because then if you do something like that, rather than just having one huge hype moment in the middle of the year for all their skins, you get to re-promote all of the skins, and then maybe you take all this stuff that you can only buy in bundles right now, like the Anna Remark Adventure and the sprays, you sell all of that individually once you have a new bundle coming out or something. And then you can do this thing where you basically get... How often can they do that, right? Like, you could do that 1 billion times with the number of heroes in Overwatch. 1 billion is hyperbole. But you could do it a whole bunch of times, and you keep up every major tournament, there is a hype announcement for partner skins or for partner merchandise and stuff like this. And I feel like that's more likely to provide a steadier source of income for the partner orgs than just saying, here's all of it at once.
Yeah, I guess my feeling was that this was just it. This was it for the year. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we're getting. But I don't know. I'm not partnered, so hopefully you're right, mate.
I mean, that's what I would hope, at least. Yeah. I guess it could also be true, except we just get one a year, which would be more underwhelming. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. I saw some people saying, "Oh, I can't believe they're so late as well." But I feel like, in the interest of correcting misinformation, it was always July. Everyone thought it was around this time, like internally as well, I guess. And this is like not a surprise or not delayed. I feel like some people just inherently complain.
Haters, you know? Let's get along, guys.
I mean, yeah, we think we have haters when Lep tweets us. We should try being Blizzard and when we release a skin.
Why not a Mercy skin? Every time.
Then I think that's all. We've successfully predicted the winner of the Esports World Cup. We successfully released for partner skins, but I feel like there's a bit of stolen valor there if we're claiming too much credit for it. We've successfully looked at them, so I guess that's our part done. Which leaves us with Client of the Week. Does anyone? Maybe
it's been a barren week. Of climbing.
Do you have anything? UV from your time in Korea? Anyone from your team or anyone from the other teams? A liability when it comes to trying to exist in Korea?
Zera's not on our team anymore. Like we don't have the clients anymore. It's like it's different. It'd be a lot easier, but no, I don't.
Surely Lethal is still a client.
I was about to say Dennis.
Lethal
surely,
is
right?
for sure still a client.
You can't outgrow that much clientness, you know? That's like a 20-year program to get rid of that.
Not client of the week material.
Oh, Gabby. I mean, I thought this Skeng Wong tweet today, I mean, it's a pretty soft client of the week, but it did make me laugh, this idea of he's now selling, instead of private coaching, he's selling he's going to build a roster for you for 30 quid.
Like career advice.
Yeah, career advice, one-on-one call.
Wait,
20 quid.
Chrissy.
I mean, I am quite tempted.
Do it, buy it. Ask him 30 quid, he builds you a roster.
I tagged myself in it just in case I need it later, because it does feel like there's like
I was thinking of giving him 20 quid for career advice, to be honest.
That's what I kept reading.
Yeah, like
Career advice.
Like,
I mean, surely there's like an element of this is the first one especially is like predatory isn't maybe the right word, but you're just going to get people who are desperate for a team who'll give you 10 quid with the idea that it's going to do anything, you know? Like, if you pay Skeng 10 quid, is he going to get you on a team? Is that like enough of a recommendation that like, oh,
look, mate, if you're giving Skeng 10 quid, you deserve whatever you get. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't look at this guy's Twitter and make a value judgment about what's going on behind the man's eyes, I think you should actually be completely deserving to lose 10
what
quid.
If it's
bare minimum?
What if it's not a scam at all and you pay him 10 quid and you get to play support with Violet? He just puts you immediately. You just get immediately put on the Vision roster.
Wow, yeah, that could. I mean, I would pay 10 quid for that.
Didn't you say as well, Chrissy? I swear when we were talking about it with TU, and you were like, I just can't build rosters, you know. I just need someone to build the roster for me, and then whatever players I have, I'll coach the team and we'll make it work, you know? This feels like this exactly solves your problem. This is the exact service you were crying out for.
I don't see how it could you pay 30 quid. Do the players automatically accept to join your team because you paid Skeng 30 quid? Like, how do you build a roster that doesn't require people to accept part of the process too? Like, how does any of this ever benefit you in any way? Like, maybe the only thing is like the career advice with Skeng is maybe the best value for money here, but even then I can't see the insights being that good. I swear, even as terrible as I am at building rosters, I swear that in this UltraViolet era there's people who are getting like credited with like just like Flack just builds the best rosters in human history. Like, he isn't just picking up the best player, like the team that's winning, I'll pick them up, you know. Like, Cointree manages like 27 teams, and it's like, oh, he builds them all. Like, he's super genius. He has no influence on any of those decisions, you know.
but Cointree one always gets me, right? Because in any other situation, if there were 27 teams competing in the same tournament, right, and they had the same manager, like say the Premier League or the NFL. If all the Premier League teams had the same manager working for them, or all the NFL teams had the same manager working for them, it would be outrage. It would be, I forget the word. What was it? Conflict of interest, right? Conflict of interest central. There's no way you can have a stake in all 20 teams. Classic stake theory. It's impossible. It's a huge conflict of interest, ruins the integrity of everything, right? But Cointree manages 27 teams. So why is this okay? And the simple answer is, well, he doesn't actually have any influence on any of the team, so it doesn't really matter. But in anything else, if he had significant influence, it would be like I'd be like demanding Blizzard get involved to like sort this out, you know, because it's too much of a conflict of interest.
I have a differing opinion. I think this is distributed conflict theory, where it's such a large conflict, but for each conflict that you add to the conflict of interest matrix, if you will, the net conflict actually goes down. So because he manages so many fucking teams, he can no longer decide who he wants to favor anymore. He is too conflicted to actually give a meaningful benefit to everybody. He is in too much of a position of power. He knows too much. He controls too much. He's masterminding so many rosters simultaneously. He has reached the critical mass of conflict of interest, and now he's just at peace.
I like it.
Thoughts?
It's true.
Yeah.
We need him. He needs to manage more teams, and everyone would be nice to each other if Cointree managed every team in Overwatch. You know.
To be fair, if Cointree managed the Geekay roster, there's a reasonable chance that Geekay wouldn't have, that Zero wouldn't have been upset after that loss, you know, because everybody would just be getting along.
That's for sure true.
We needed a bridge between those two teams. In fact, we needed someone with a conflict of interest, a stake in both teams, to bring them
would have
together.
never made an outrageous tweet. God damn it.
So I guess the real client of the week is if anyone pays Scrim Wong £30 to make a roster around you, then that's it. That's you. Okay?
I think. Wait, do you think if you send him 30 quid, do you think he would do it for you, Chris? Like just as like. Like, you know, just like, I'm just interested. I just want to see what happens, you know? Like,
someone buy 30 quid from Scrim Wong and tell him instead of you want him to build me a roster, and then let's see what he does.
FLX is gonna do it, man. Like, don't do this.
No, I feel like you have to do it because then it gives it legitimacy.
No, but I don't want to spend the 30 quid, you know? I'm unemployed. I actually became what I hate. I became someone without a job, you know. I'm one anime profile picture of fully becoming who I hate, you know. So,
is this for
when's
hypocrisy
this episode
again?
Again?
We have Chris unemployed, Max hiding behind his anime profile picture,
being nice too,
being nice.
Come on, Max. You scared of your own face or what, mate?
Why don't you post a selfie, Max, huh? You got all these big selfie, opinions. Yeah? Why don't you post a selfie, yeah?
I'll take one right now. There's a at 2 hours, 27 minutes and 30 seconds ish.
You know, like
quick selfie.
You know, thanks for. Do you know Money Saving Expert, Chris? You know, like the
Martin Lewis.
Martin Lewis, yeah. So basically, for those who aren't from the UK, it's basically just a website that goes around and it like interrogates and scrutinizes all these like mortgage services and loans and everything like this and makes sure it's all legit and helps people avoid these sort of traps that companies set. You could be Overwatch's Martin Lewis here, Chris, and go try the service and see if it's legit.
Oh, it would be good. It would be so good to stream the journey of me getting my roster built. And then the career advice would be so good. Like, I'd love to know what he'd tell me, you know? Like, well, I probably wouldn't let you do it.
All right, you can stick this one over the camel. Terrified of his own face award goes to... It's the picture of a loads on that satellite internet, yeah.
He's got his business degree in the background there.
What is that? All your degrees. And these bears are having a nice time as well.
Feedlot addresses, ball completion report, some sort of accreditation number for I don't know. looks like it's a certificate for having livestock on the property. Yeah, and the laminated one, the shiny one, is the map of where all the water is.
Or lack thereof.
No, this is empty pipes. This is where all the sprinklers that are corroded go. So yeah, we got a whole matrix going on here.
Why has it been hung over this sort of bear art?
I don't know, mate. You'd have to ask the guy that hung it there. If you can get in touch, I'll let you know.
What I might do is I might hire Skeng and see if he can figure it out for us. He can probably try it out.
To be honest, give Skeng a tenner and see if he can figure out what my old man was thinking with that one.
I'm actually... people these days, everyone's using AI more and more. I might stop using AI and only use Skeng now for all of my queries and stuff like this.
Support real agents.
Just send him a tenner and just, can you figure this out for me?
Let it rip.
From the support real agent stage.
I'm taking money out of AI's pocket and putting it back in Skeng 1's pocket. All right, so I guess it's kind of... So, client of the week by default. I feel like actually for Skeng 1, I don't actually.
Yeah,
I don't think of anything else.
He got unlucky, didn't he? Because
Yeah,
there would have been bigger clients, but
I feel like I've got client blindness, you know? Like client shit happens so much. I feel like I gotta start writing this stuff down, like recording it.
Yeah, we need to. It's when it happens, we need to write it down because I feel like I always forget about it by the time the episode comes, even though it can't have been.
It's like
can't have been.
I'm sure there was like something on Twitter that like made my head explode, something on Reddit that made my head explode. Oh, like just endless, really.
Yeah, something like surely like just like a scroll through Reddit for like a couple of minutes, like you'll find something.
Oh, I mean, if
But
the
maybe that's
problem
like
with the Reddit is that like it's low hanging fruit, you know? Like
yeah,
there's just
it's like
yeah,
cheating.
literally all you have to do is open Compo W and you immediately get hit with like psychic brain melting waves of like people
Read,
with
like,
the
the
top
first two
1% commenter flair. Yeah, like people with the top 1% commenter flair just informing you that they are in fact like there to cause your brain to melt through your fucking ears. It hurts, but that's okay. Everybody's allowed to have a hobby.
And what better hobby than sending brain melting waves through Reddit?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Not everyone can be a pundit, but somebody's got to do it.
You can't tell because he's wearing sunglasses, but he winked as he said that. All right, then the last thing we have to do, and I'm so happy because I normally forget and then I have to record a separate message afterwards, but I've remembered live. We have to thank Red Eyes for being our best and biggest Patreon supporter.
I mentioned him like 3 minutes ago. Like, oh, sorry,
you didn't thank him, mate, did you? You didn't thank him.
Fuck it, like
him. He's our biggest
just
supporter.
acknowledging him is like it's close enough. Like,
no,
he knows.
thank him.
I fucking thanked him yesterday and the day before. He keeps giving me money on it.
Max, say thank you.
Thank you, FLX Red Eyes 7. Thank you very much. FLX _Red Eyes 7. Thank you so much. We appreciate your ongoing patronage on Patreon.
Was that so hard, Max? Was it so hard?
I don't know why we have to do this dance every time, Max, honestly. I feel like it wasn't that
I think
hard.
that needs more passion, to be honest.
Okay, Mr. Passion Gap. Like, just you wait till we get to the ad read. Like,
if the GK team was here, they would have said thank you so nicely.
Derpy would have done a whole fucking song and dance for that segment.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you, UV. Appreciate you coming on. And best of luck at the major. You'll be the only one, I guess, in this call competing. So, yeah.
Thank you.